Hey, Nell, play that shit.
Alright, so just touched down in Phoenix. First flight done with. Got a layover here for like an hour. And I should be arriving in Vegas around 11 their time. First flight was cool. It was too early, like I said, to even talk. I got on the plane. I went straight to sleep. Look, I already see somebody in the Chiefs shirt. We in Phoenix. We just in Phoenix. It's about to be Chiefs Kingdom all over Vegas, baby. Finally here. I got a story. Boy, do I got a story. Almost did not make it here. Like 11. And I'm like, there's no plane here. More people have come in to like sit in the waiting area. Maybe the plane late. I'm like, okay, well, let me go check the app again and see if, flight's delayed. I kid you not. As soon as I open the Southwest app, y'all, all I hear go across the whole airport intercom is flight leaving to Las Vegas. We're looking for Bryce Lovejoy, gate C2. I'm like, what the fuck? And like, literally, as soon as she's saying that, I'm reading on my phone. The gate is C2. I'm like, nobody announced this. Nobody said nothing. Like I said, I checked the app when I got off the plane. So I'm like, oh shit. Let me, try to get over there. And I'm in gate C17, like I said. They're in gate C2. I think, well, it's all the C, so it can't be too far. No. Had to run all the way down to the end of the C-teen section. Make a left. Then there was 4 sets of those little like walkway escalators, whatever you want to call them. Where you walk on the left, stand on the right. As soon as I busted that left and got to the first one, again, we are looking for Bryce Lovejoy, gate C2, flight to Las Vegas. So now I'm like, bro, I don't really want to bust out in a sprint in this airport, but I got to bust out in a sprint low key. So I'm power walking / jogging, make it to the third one. They say it again. Bryce Lovejoy, gate C2, yada, 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 Las Vegas, all that. I'm like, oh my God, am I finna miss this flight? So get there to the gate, huffing and puffing, handing my boarding pass. I'm like, it's a C-17 and nobody made an announcement. They're like, well, I mean, it's a good thing you made it here. You had 2 minutes to spare. That was it. 2 minutes to spare. So this whole trip almost did not happen. But by the grace of God and a little bit of luck, I'm here. And with that luck, I'm gonna go hit the sports book and casinos.
We got it.
catch it. Good, passing left. Keep on, keep on. Brake. A little harder. There you go. Off brake. Just coast in. A little bit of gas, 20%. Building speed, right side. Use all that track out there. Let's go. Good, pass him now. Let's do it. Brake. Right side to green. Don't come off. Just off the green. A little bit of gas. Carry momentum. Tight in now. Little gas, little gas. Yep, stay left. Good. Now bring it back to the right, tight as you can. Eyes up to the next one. Give me some more. Stay on it. You're good. You're good. Stay left. Let's go. Good. Right side gas. Pass him now. Up. Yep. Keep on him though. Brake. Good. Off brake. Turn in. Little gas. More. Full throttle as fast as you want to go. Passing now. Go, 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 go. Right side. Hug it. Brake. Right side. Harder brake. Turn your head. Tight into the green, little gas, there you go, look down the straight. Right side, let it out, let it out. Yes. How you feeling? This is cool, that's in it. Brake hard, harder, harder, right there. Off brake, trust it, tighter, little gas, bring it back. More gas, all the way out, full throttle, look for the green already. Good, brake, right side first green, second green's more important. Now smooth transition in, a little bit of gas. 20%, just keep that consistent 20% all the way through these two corners. A little bit more, tight in, more gas again. Yep, don't come off, just keep giving me more. Good, left side, stay on gas, you're good, gas. Oh yeah. Brake, right? Off brake, turn in now, little gas, don't come off, just keep building. Let's go, send it. Brake, good, keep the pressure right there. Turn your head, there you go, tie it in. Little gas, progressively let that wheel out. Right side, let's go. Nice. Left side. Last lap. Brake. Harder, harder, right there. Stay on that brake. Off brake tight. Little gas, trust it. Good, build speed. She'll stick. Let's go. Full throttle, all the way to orange. Passing. Good. Brake. We're just gonna hug the corner all the way through. Tight in now. Little gas, get it in there. Get it in there. Get it in there. Good, less gas again. You're good. More now. Right side, tight as you can. Tighter. There you go. Keep on her. Passing on the right. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Good. Right side gas. Brake right. Good. Off brake, turn in now. Little gas. Eyes up. And send it. Last push. Let's go. Yep. Brake. Nice. That was all five, brother. We're straight out.
Man, that shit crazy. What is up, everybody? Saturday morning, game day. Got the game day fit, and you know I'm a superstitious person. This is the same. I got the Kelsey jersey. Got the hoodie on under this time because it is cold, but this is actually a new Christmas gift. Shout out to my dad. So I'm going to put this on under. But it's the same fit y'all seen from the last vlog in Houston. We won that game where I was wearing this, so why would I switch it up? But yeah, man. Lyft driver is probably like 3 minutes away from picking me up. Gonna head to the sports book and let's get the day started. Today gonna be a good day, baby. Let's get it.
David Long on playing the first 11 weeks of the season. They ranked the top 10 impact players and the number one rushing defense in the NFL.
Uh-oh. You already know what time it is, man. Doing it right now. This shit is amazing. Alright, so check it. Got all the games. This my tickets for the day. This really my ticket for today. Mavericks, Chiefs, Tech, Kansas. plus 23. Take it to the bank. Look, got the dream parlay drawn up, man.
Say does that star-spangled banner get away?
Good fourth down stop.
I know it.
Oh, God. Touch. Thank you. Get him. Get him. Get him. Yes, sir. That's game. It was already game, but that's game for sure. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. That is a Chiefs dub. Like I said before, Arrowhead West. Never in doubt. We own this place. Oh my God. Yo. Let's fucking go. I'm done for the day. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Literally, y'all, that was my last $5. Oh my God. Let's fucking go. I was one away from the grand fucking jackpot, which was like 11,000. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing. Shout out to Miles, though. He told me to come play this, so I'll take it. I'm finna dip out.
What did I say for you? Tell them to bring me my money.
Good morning, everybody. 7:48 a.m. Las Vegas time. Finna get up out of here. Head back to the sports book. Use some of those winnings, I got from yesterday. Throw in another parlay because yesterday's parlay sold because I didn't know Texas Tech was down 3 starters because they wanted to announce it an hour before the game. And by that point, I was already in Allegiant Stadium. But it's whatever. Fuck it. We ball. If you seen, that last clip, though, went to the casino, had a $100 voucher because that's all I wanted to use because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I had a friend lace me up, play this Lightning Link game. And I was one Powerball away from winning $11K. So, gonna try to go flip some of those winnings. Got a parlay. Steelers -2.5, Bills, 49ers ML. And then I'm gonna play Steelers straight up. Because Mike Tomlin in the losing season, I don't see it happening again, man. But let's get it. Back at it again. Back at it like a crack at it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. I got a good feeling about today. We gonna hit. These parlays gonna hit today. Gotta leave here with something. Well, man, bets are placed. Time to go doom riding. By the time I'm probably finished, it'll probably be like third, fourth quarter of the first slate of afternoon games. So hopefully, you know, we come out on top. Like I said, I feel good about these bets today, man. We finna hit big. So tune in and y'all see these picks after this. What's up, y'all? Just got done ATV riding. Wish I could have got video of it, but I couldn't. Back in the hotel room now. Got some food. The tickets were submitted. Our plan was to go back to the, Mandalay Bay, hit the sports book again. Right now, a lot is on the line, but everything's looking good. The Steelers got first and goal. They're up 6. Look, I'm streaming the game right now. Dang, he ain't get in yet. The Bills just scored to go back up 2 possessions with like 7 minutes or 8 minutes left in the fourth. The screen just came across. They're up 35-23. So we need Bills, Steelers, and then the Bengals. The Bengals are up 27-17 in the fourth. So everything's looking good. If Pitt can score right here, I really need a touchdown. A field goal would help put the game away, but a touchdown would secure that 2.5, man. So yeah. Nervous, but everything looks good. Everything is alive. It was 3rd and goal, incomplete pass, but pass interference saves it. Come on, Pittsburgh. Just punch this in. Let's get this game over with. Come on now. We got the Patriots. I don't know why it's blurry. There we go. Oh my good. Ooh, thank God that went off his helmet. Let's go. Touchdown, Derek Watt. And while the Steelers look great now, it looks like the Buffalo Bills just muffed a punt. There's a flag. They're trying to decide. I hope this somehow cancels out and gives Buffalo the ball back. Because why are you even trying to? Oh. Can you get pushed into it? Wow. And Buffalo's trying to sell the bag. Yes, sir. Patriots lost. And the Steelers covered -2.5 and won the game. As long as Cincinnati doesn't have the most miraculous failure right here, they're up 11, 40 seconds left. Drop passes now. Game over. We riding on the 49ers, man, to cash out. Unfortunately for Cam, the 17 parlay just dropped because the Jets sold. And then I even had just a mess around parlay that was continued from the dream parlay I made the first day. And I had Jets +4. They were going to cover it, and these fools got a safety trying to make a lateral play at the end of the game. Lost by 5. But not worried about it. It was only $30. The big play is this one right here, man. All we need is the 49ers, and we're cashing out. Took a shower, threw on the new Chiefs Mahomes jersey. You know what I'm saying? Y'all saw this on the last vlog. Wanted to get it signed. Wasn't able to. It is what it is. But, coming off a dub yesterday, pretty much put the exclamation point on what was already a sold-up MVP race. Like I said earlier, parlay is riding on 49ers. They're up 7-6 right now. So let's get back to this sports book, and hopefully this cashes, man. Wish me luck. Almost there. Almost there. Come on. Yes, sir. That's game. That's game. Come on, man. Yes, sir. Let's get this over with. Let's get this game over with. Try to tell y'all. Free game. Then they go cash out.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
Here we go. For game. What are they? Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. Wow. Green Bay out of the playoffs. Probably Aaron Rodgers' last game in his Packer career. What a win by Detroit. Oh my God. Rip to my boy Cam's parlay. This is... Green Bay completely shit the bed. They choked big time. What a play call, though. Wow. Well, time to get the fuck up out of here. Well, back in the hotel room, dog. So you know we got count up the bread we made. You know what I'm saying, man? A successful weekend in Vegas, no doubt, man. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? We came in, we did our thing. Let's go. What's the Let's go. But on a real note, man, amazing weekend in Vegas. Solo trip, successful. Gotta do this trip again. Run it back with the boys. We could all be in the casino betting. Didn't end the night the way we wanted to because the Packers sold the bag, but it is what it is. Playoffs start next week, so we right back at it, keying it into overdrive. Hopefully, the plan is we're gonna bring both our boys Cam back on, have a playoff episode with the vlog from this trip. Get their predictions for the Cowboys, the Eagles, everybody. Super Bowl predictions. It's all in motion now. Finally made it to the end of the regular season. Feels like it's just yesterday we started this, but hey, we keep on moving. We keep on rolling. Episodes going to keep coming every week. And hey, a green week is a green week. And you know how we got to end it. I need it. And we out. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the INISPod podcast, man. Your boy is back home. Made it back from Vegas Monday. What a great weekend. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the vlog that played right before this. It was a wild weekend for sure. I left home with some money. Bets was hidden. Sadly, though, my boy Cam got played by the Packers and his man A-Rod. I think that broke his heart because that's his bad man, and he failed him. But yeah, week 18 done. NFL playoffs are here. A lot happened to shore up these final playoff spots this past week. One of those being that Packers game with the Seahawks winning. All the Packers had to do was win, and they're in. And they went up against a hungry Lions team who didn't have nothing to play for, really. But hey, if they said if we not making the playoffs, neither are the Packers. And now it's up in the air, you know, if Aaron Rodgers even comes back to Green Bay next year. And I mean, Jordan Love, they could have played him these last couple weeks, but they let Aaron Rodgers ride it out, and they're confident, I think, in what they see from practice in Jordan Love. So who knows? It's going to be a wild offseason for sure. There's a lot of QB spots open around the league. I don't know who would necessarily want to take on Aaron Rodgers' contract at this age and after what he just showed this year, but I mean, the team has the opportunity and they feel like they're one quarterback away and they could trade for Aaron Rodgers. I think they'll probably make that trade. So y'all think Aaron's time is done in Green Bay after this? He's gonna end it with a loss, and his last throw as a Packer was an interception. Technically, you think that was it?
I think it's it. Like I think he's gonna have like the same story, like a Brett Favre type of story. I think he's gonna be gone. I don't know necessarily where he's gonna go because it's teams like the Raiders and maybe even the Dolphins that may need like upgrade QB. So that could be an option to try reunite him in Vegas with Devontae. But I don't know who want to take on that contract, like you said. And Jordan Love, I've been seeing a glimpse of it, like leaked videos of him at practice, and he's been looking really good. So. I don't know. I don't know where A-Rod can go. And then you see him when he walking out, he told the camera guy his face and stuff, like he was angry. So I don't know where he gonna go.
Yeah, I think it was Jameson Williams asked him for the jersey, like, "Hey, let me get that off." He's like, "Nah, I think I'm gonna have to keep this one." Man, I mean, people can run with their rumors and everything, but it's like, why you want to keep this one? What's so special? Like, you just lost and you didn't make the playoffs here. What's so special about this jersey? And I think they've been having talks behind closed doors, like, yeah, this one's it. That's probably why they let him play it out, like, regardless of what happened this year, unless they miraculously won a Super Bowl, which I don't think anybody thought was happening. I think Green Bay and him, they sat down and were like, hey, this is probably your last go round. But at the same time, it's kind of stupid, though, too, because they did just give this man the largest quarterback contract in NFL history
That's
1
what I'm
year in to
saying.
turn around and trade him away. How you feeling, Kim? I know that's your guy. I know you feel some type of way because he saw you this weekend, but I mean, what's your total thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and his time with Green Bay?
Man, after watching that game, man, it's time for him to he can't go play nowhere else, man. It's time for him to retire, honestly. Like it did he didn't look good, man. And not necessarily the whole Packers team. Like Packers team, they played okay and like they played decent. But I mean, you could just tell like Aaron, like some of the throws, he's supposed to be making, he just wasn't making. Um, the interceptions that he was throwing is just wasn't Aaron Rodgers like. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure it probably is a team that would take on his contract because obviously it's still Aaron Rodgers. Like it's the name, that name holds weight, a lot of weight. But if I was him, man, I just hang it up, man, because it's like, what else? What more else do you have to prove? It's just I don't know. If I was him, I hang it up though.
I mean, I can see it, but at the same time, like he might hang it up. No telling, because he got money, obviously, but I mean, next year he do 40 M's. It's kind of hard to walk away from that when all you gotta do is sign a paper and say I'm playing wherever next year, and you getting 40 M's guaranteed. That's a lot of money to just pass up.
If it's anyone to do it though, is
Yeah.
Aaron. It'll be Aaron Rodgers. He's that type of guy to just like, okay, I don't want to deal with this no more. But I mean, 40 M's, 40 M's. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if he's got a no trade clause, but it would have to be somewhere because at this point, I think he's only playing for like, I mean, his legacy is set, so to speak. But at the end of the day, I know he would like to get at least one more Super Bowl or at least get back to a Super Bowl because, I mean, they won in what was it, 2010, and then he hasn't been back since. And there's been some historic playoff chokes that weren't necessarily his fault, some that were his fault throughout these years with the Packers and Green Bay. But I just know like if he does go somewhere and they have a talented roster, I could low key see like because like Cam Swan was saying like Brett Favre ended the same exact way, and then he goes to the Vikings, and they're honestly a couple plays away from the Super Bowl in that NFC Championship versus the Saints, if a couple other things go their way. So I don't know who would necessarily trade for him, but if it's a contender and they're one quarterback away, hey, they could. Imagine, like I know last week we was talking about Lamar to the Jets. Imagine Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Because they got a top defense and they got talent on that offensive side of the ball. That low key, I'm not saying they just Super Bowl contenders, but they in the Super Bowl talk at least preseason. They of course have to prove it on the field, but they're instantly one of the top 5 teams I would think in the AFC next year if something like that were to happen. But like I said, it's a crazy offseason for sure. Another Week 18 game had huge playoff implications. I actually called this one exactly right, and I'm mad I didn't bet it because I
I
couldn't.
did.
Jaguars Titans. Last week me and Cam were on the podcast talking about it, and I was like, I think the Jags will win the game. But I was like, I know after a week of resting these players, Vrabel gonna have them boys ready to play, and they're gonna cover a +6 spread. Like it's gonna be a close game. And honestly, they probably should have won that if it like they were shutting down Jacksonville's offense and the defense really won the game. And then the 4th and 18, I don't know why Dobbs throws a 3-yard check down. That's like the most Matt Ryan thing to do I'd have never seen. Like you gotta go for the gusto at that point. But Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence had a terrible rookie year. Obviously, that was probably a lot on Urban Meyer being the coach. This year, you got Doug Peterson. Got a home playoff game now, AFC South champs from last place to first place this year. And on the flip side, the Titans literally went from first in the AFC to out the playoffs this year. And I think it's kind of like two teams headed in completely different directions. The Titans, I think they low key they have to enter a rebuild because there's nothing on that roster that's besides Derrick Henry. There's nobody on that roster really. I guess Simmons and Byard on the defensive end, but other than that, no one on that roster who's like, oh yeah, we gotta keep them. And you've already seen all you can see with Tannehill. Malik Willis, I don't know what's the deal with that. I mean, the fact they went and got Dobbs and didn't play him. Hopefully they can get him an off season with first team reps and get him some more wide receivers in that room. But y'all taking Jacksonville serious in these playoffs or
Um, I actually got them. I got them doing not. I wouldn't say like a Cinderella story, but I got them coming out against the Chargers. I ain't gonna lie to you.
okay.
I
Same,
got
same
the
though. We gonna get to the playoff. We gonna get to the playoff for
Yeah,
sure. Okay.
I got them making a little bit of noise, especially the home field. I love Doug Peterson. I love him since he was in Philly.
Oh yeah.
So he's that's like I said from last year. They are one coach away from like being a better team. And then on top of that, they had like a great second half run. And they don't even have Captain really back. Wait till he get him next year. Like that team really stacked on offense. For him, Evan Ingram, he due for a contract. They probably gonna re-sign him more than likely. Yeah, Christian Kirk. I was skeptical on Christian Kirk. I'm not even gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah. We were big
'Cause
Christian Kirk
I
skeptics.
didn't because he never had 1,000-yard receiving season ever. So for him to get that big of contract and be like a wide receiver one, I'm like, I don't know. Going from like a wide receiver 2 or 3 to one. But he showed up, especially in fantasy. He showed up. So I was like, okay, like, and then you got Zay Jones, like he having a monster year, and then Jones Jr. every now and then he'll probably pop up like Tyler Boyd type of season. But they're scary, especially when they're getting Calvin really back. They're gonna be like a scary team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I know me and Cam, I'm pretty sure I think we both chose the Colts to come out the AFC South,
Mm-hmm.
which I do still got to go back and go find that picture with all our preseason picks. But obviously that was way wrong.
Way wrong.
Way wrong. Uh, I I said I was on record saying at the beginning of the season I'm not a believer in the Jaguars. Then started the season. I think they started off 2-0 if I'm not mistaken. Then they
Mm-hmm.
lost like 6 straight, and so I was like, at first I apologized after the first 2 weeks, and I was like, no, they are who I thought they were, and now I gotta apologize again because they done came all the way back, won all these games, and with a little bit of help of Tennessee. I think Tennessee lost like the last 7 games of the season, which is crazy for a Mike Vrabel team. Sorry, Ashton, if you when you listen to this, I mean, this is a tough year for you. I know it, but yeah, I like you were saying, we weren't believers in Christian Kirk. I was really upset because he broke the whole wide receiver market, and I thought that was part of the reason we ended up losing Tyreek. Hindsight's 2020, of course, but I mean, I'm not mad at it now. Obviously, because my boy, I know y'all see the jersey on me. My boy, no diss to your guy Jalen Hurts. He had an MVP season. It sucks he got hurt.
Now I've been to y'all got that. I
Yeah,
ain't gonna
but
lie.
now at this point, it gotta be unanimous. But yeah, Jags, they're definitely a scary team, and they get a home game. They blew out the Chargers like I think it was like 3 weeks ago or something. So
Mhm.
Chargers probably looking for a little revenge. They've gotten healthier. This is probably the healthiest they've been all year coming into this game. Definitely gonna be a dogfight game. I think it's the only pick'em game of the playoff slate for Wild Card Weekend, man. But you think being an AFC South fan, Kim, you think that this the Jags division for years to come? or you think maybe the Colts find a quarterback or something, or the Titans bounce back next year? Because the Jaguars, they're all young, and everyone else in the division as of right now going into this offseason is in complete disarray. So
Yeah, they are. It's kind of hard to tell because the AFC South is like one year you can be at the top of the top, and then the next following year you at the bottom. So I mean it's kind of really hard to tell. They definitely got the most definitely got the best QB in the division, best young QB in the division. So I mean they could be running the AFC South for a good minute. So yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like I said, they got a good defense. They're getting Calvin back next year. So I mean, he's a receiver one himself. You add that with Christian Kirk, and then now, I mean, the Giants didn't know how to use Evan Ingram, but the Jags know how to use Evan Ingram, and he's playing like a dog. So
hey, that's some well side conversation, but because you made that point, it just brought to my mind. Like I get it, the Giants have had a good year by their standards, and Dable probably gets Coach of the Year. He's at least in the running. But Evan Ingram, they couldn't find a way to use. Got rid of him. Kadarius Toney, who they couldn't find a way to use. Now look at him shining with the Chiefs. He's already got 2 touchdowns in like 4 games played, and he never had a touchdown at all with them. Cashed the anytime touchdown this week for me, and he got the one taken away on the trick play, and then got it again the next play on the sweep. So shout out to you, Cam, because that was you telling me to pick that one. But yeah, they could definitely use them right now. Like if they had Evan Ingram and Kadarius Toney with the way they're playing right now, they would. I mean, I think they still have a chance to beat the Vikings, but they would be much more of a threat to like make some noise in the NFC playoffs. But that's I think what's gonna kill them in the division because they literally have no receiving threats. And I mean, it's still up in the air on Daniel Jones, but like he literally has no weapons to throw to besides Saquon, so he can
has
only go
none.
so far.
Yeah.
The
So
thing with him is that they don't, like you said, they don't not use their weapons because outside I can't say Sterling Shepard because he been injured a lot. So I can't say him, but they don't even know how to use Kenny Galladay, for example. And so I wouldn't even be surprised if somehow he leave and he just take off and with another team. Because when he was with the Lions, he was really good with them. They know how to use him. But it's like every receiver that outside of Odell, every receiver that goes to the Giants, even when Odell was with the Giants, every season his numbers decrease and decrease and decrease. So it's like every receiver that goes there, they just don't know how to use them. I don't know what it's because like Slayton he had like okay year. But other than that, I mean, they don't not use no receivers at all. So I don't know. I don't get it.
yeah, besides Slayton, Sterling Shepard, like you said, he's just been injury riddled his whole career. I think they got Davis Sills, who went to West Virginia. Other than that, I can't name any of their receivers off the top of my mind because they literally don't have any. And they'll play Minnesota tough and might win, but if they win that, I don't see them going any farther than that. But I mean, if they feel like, Daniel Jones is one they can build around after the season, definitely go get him some weapons and then see. But I think they're still probably a couple years away. They still gotta figure some things out. But then also they're gonna have to pay Saquon. I think because isn't his contract up this year technically? Because
Yeah, him and Jones.
yeah, and I don't know if he'll. I mean, he's gonna command a lot of money. I don't know if they can give him the full max since he hasn't played for a couple years because he's been injured, and this year is first time being back healthy a couple years. But that'll definitely be interesting to see as well. On the flip side, the other New York team, Week 18, the Jets also played us. Another parlay died with Jets and Mel for Cam. I had a parlay that had Jets +4. They're down 3, and I probably played myself and jinxed it because literally I'm texting Cam as I'm sitting in the sports book watching this game, and I'm like, man, I'm mad because you told me Jets and Mel for your parlay, but I should have been like, no, dude, just take +4. That's it.
Oh
That
yeah.
was the play. And as soon as that happened, they ran that lateral at the end of the game, and the ball bounced off the back of the end zone. I was like, that's going to be a safety, isn't it? And it took like 5 minutes for the score to update. And then it finally updated. Jets lose 11-6. And I was like, wow.
That's a bad beat.
That's the worst beat of the season, I think. And I know Jets plus 3.5 better for Matt everywhere. And I was like, bruh, because I think I threw like $30 on this parlay and it would have won like 289. It was like 7 picks. Everything else hit. Just that one. I was like, man, it could have been. It was a good day still. It could have been an amazing day if the Jets didn't play me like that. But kind of, Salah said, after that Patriots loss earlier in the season or towards the end of the season, he was like, yeah, we'll see them again. And then they went on to lose every single game, and their quarterback room is still a big mystery. I don't know about you, Cam Swan, but me and Cam, we're big promoters of Lamar to the New York Jets. Either that or Miami. But what?
I've been saying that, bro. I've been saying take Lamar home, bro. I've been saying it since the whole contract situation in the summer. I've been saying, bro, every person I've been telling my job, every person I've been telling like in just different chats, I like, bro, I can see Lamar going home, bro. I can see him going home, being with Waddle and being with Hill. I can see that. I've been saying it. They be like, you tripping? You don't want to go home? I was like, bro, that would legit be the fastest team.
Oh yeah,
Nobody's touching them.
Yeah.
I
fastest at
swear.
every skill position on the offensive side of the ball because they got Mostert in the backfield that people forget about, who's literally a track star himself. That
Exactly.
boy, the RPO would go crazy, especially with Mike McDaniel calling the play. That would be, honestly, if that happens, I feel like at least for the preseason, just based off the hype, they got to be the Super Bowl favorites or the favorites to come out the AC because that's too much speed to cover, and that's gonna give defenses headaches all day. But yeah, Miami who beat the Jets. It just came out today, which I mean, anybody with the brain probably could have guessed and should have known. Tua's not playing in the playoffs unless they make it damn near to the Super Bowl because he sat out for 3 weeks with the first concussion, and this is his second one. No way they were going to bring him back even quicker. But officially today, he didn't pass concussion protocol, so he's out. As of right now, Skylar Thompson, the third string quarterback, is Teddy Bridgewater still dealing with the broken thumb. It's up in the air if he'll play. Um, yeah, it sucks. I mean, Tua's career is kind of in jeopardy right now. And so, do you think if Lamar was to get traded to Miami, you think it's like, I don't think it would be a 1-for-1 trade, but you think they throw Tua in there? Because, I mean, it's not fair to Tua necessarily, so to speak, because he hasn't had a chance to play a full season with this system, and he was doing good before the injury. But you think Dolphins would throw in Tua and Miami or Baltimore would take that trade? Tua and some
Um,
picks for Lamar?
I don't personally. I'm gonna say no, and the reason why I'm gonna say no is that they're gonna be very fearful of his injuries. And the reason why I'm gonna say that is because they are skeptical of Lamar having his MCL injuries. In the last 2 seasons, he been injured a lot. He missed a lot. He missed like, his first couple seasons. He wasn't really injured. He probably missed like maybe 2 or 3 games. The last 2 seasons, he missed 10 total. So they're now it's more than that because he missed the last 6 games. He probably not even gonna play in this playoff game. So they're very skeptical of the injuries. That's why they don't want to give him a full guaranteed contract. With Tua not having that and going, I think, into his contract of year, they'll be able to make that trade. But at the same time, they skeptical of his injuries or concussions. So I don't think they're gonna do that. If anything, they probably just ask for picks and stuff, and they'll just go within the draft or try to find somebody in the offseason. But if anything, they probably just have Tua ride the bench, which I know that's something he won't do, especially being a first round pick. But I mean, them injuries is too severe, and his career, like you said, his career is in jeopardy. But I don't think Baltimore will make that trade. If anything, they don't want to go from injury prone to another injury prone.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really a Tua fan, but I mean, I was excited to see him and how he was playing to start off the season, see like what they could do and make noise with Tyreek. And now, I mean, yeah, they're a divisional opponent, so they might be able to play them a little bit tougher, but I can't put any faith in the upset, for them, especially if Skylar Thompson's at quarterback versus Buffalo in Buffalo. Like Buffalo would have to give them that game, meaning like Josh Allen got to throw like 5 interceptions. 2 of them probably got to be picks. Like the most crazy shit would have to happen for that to even be an upset. But I mean, it really sucks for Miami. They were coming into the year high hopes. Tyreek obviously all his offseason talking about Tua being most accurate and they can do this and do that and make noise. And now At least they made the playoffs this time. I'll give them that. Props to them, even though they barely squeaked in there. But yeah, man. You want to see Cam Sanders? You want to see Lamar in Miami or New York Jets?
I want to see him with the Jets because I want to see. I know Miami has weapons too, but the Jets' weapons are like it's like it's crazy. Like they all young too, and it's just there's so many weapons over there for New York. Also, that defense that the Jets have is outstanding. I know you already seen Sauce. He been trying to recruit Lamar already, so I would like to see him with the Jets. But I mean either or, if he's on the Jets or if he's with Miami, I mean they gonna be a contender no matter what. I feel like because he finally has some weapons and he finally get to show everybody that he can throw the ball and he's very good at it too. So yeah, I would say the Jets.
That's fair. I mean, the only problem with going to the Jets for me is I don't like talented quarterbacks like that with defensive coaches because they never know what to do with them and they always have an incompetent offensive coordinator. So if he goes to the Jets, I think they need to go find an offensive coordinator that's going to open up that offense. And
So,
I don't know who that is. Shoot, maybe I don't know if he would take it, but like we kind of been having discussions the last couple of weeks. Eric Bieniemy's contract is up. We only re-signed him for 1 year. If he's not able to get a head coaching contract, and because he still has to prove it for whatever reason, like maybe he takes a deal with New York, like new system, new players. You got Lamar. Let's see what he can do because Salah's gonna be all over the defense. But I mean, it's not fair that has to happen, but honestly, at this point, that might be a best case scenario for him if he does want to get a head coaching job, because he's not gonna get it the Jeff Saturday way. Who, I mean, they're still talking about he's in the running for the head coach job permanently after what he just did to end this season, which is absolutely insane.
Oh, they just said they changed their minds on that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they
Oh,
were talking about changing their minds.
well, good, because there's
They
no
was-
way.
yeah, they were talking about changing their minds, and then the Jets offensive coordinator got released. I think today. I think he got let go today.
yeah, he got
Oh,
let
yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, but
so
yeah, so I don't know if that's what's gonna happen, but they definitely need to go find maybe I don't know because he didn't have a great head coaching debut.
I
Obviously,
know.
you Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh no, I was gonna say I was thinking Cliff Kingsbury.
mm,
He'll be a nice ass
Yeah,
offensive
just so he
coordinator.
can just focus on the
Focus,
offense because
just
he
focus
he
on.
did not need to be a head coach anywhere.
mm-mm.
This off subject, but I actually thought he was gonna go. I actually thought A&M was gonna wait for him, to get fired. Because everybody knew eventually he'll get fired. But I thought A&M was gonna wait for him and just bring him on as offense coordinator, so he can go back to college. That'd been nice for A&M, but they went another direction. But that's just another
Yeah,
combo.
I don't think because he did get an NFL head coaching job, I don't think he'll go back to college unless it's head coaching. Even
Yeah.
though at the college level he proved he couldn't be a head coach either. But because he got propped up to the NFL position, I don't think anybody's ever gonna knock him down. But offensive coordinator, I don't know if he would want that, but I think it's something to highly consider. And I think that might be a best case position for him.
Literally, it is.
So that would definitely be interesting to see as well. I didn't even think of that one. That's actually a good one. I was thinking Nathaniel Hackett EV, but I actually like the Cliff Kingsbury thing. Problem is, he'll go over there. They say they get Lamar. They have a great season. He gonna be right back in the running for a head coach position the next year, like it's nobody's business, and he'll get one.
He'll get one.
Like,
Yeah.
bro, it's too easy for them. Like, it is what it is, man. But yeah, that's enough for the week 18 recap. We're about to get into our playoff predictions. So if y'all remember, I think it was probably back it was the week right leading up to the first Cowboys Eagles game. We brought on Cam and the other Cam Davis. Unfortunately, Cam Davis he's booked up with work this week, so we couldn't get him on. Maybe depending on how the game goes Monday, maybe we can get him back on to talk about the season. If it don't end too well Monday, I don't think we're getting him back on. I don't want to talk about it. But we're about to jump into our playoff predictions for how we think these playoffs about to play out. Super Bowl matchup, Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP, all that. But first, before we get into that, I do want to get Cam Swan, take. We haven't talked to you since that first game. So how you feeling about your Eagles season? How it went? I know at one point I think y'all were like 13-0 before y'all dropped y'all's first game. Then Jalen Hurts gets injured. Now he's back. I think y'all getting CJ Gardner Johnson back. I don't know. I haven't heard about Lane. Is Lane Johnson back too?
He's still nursing the injury, but he's on his way back. But
Okay.
it's still kind of up in the air.
Okay. Well, luckily for y'all held on to that first seed, so get a bye, extra week of rest for him. But yeah, man, give us your thoughts on your Eagles season, how you feel headed into these playoffs.
Man, I'll say like everybody was texting me nonstop, like, man, are you nervous? Like, the injury bugs hitting y'all at the wrong time and blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, that happened in 2017 when we had the underdog run. So I'm not too worried about it. It did concern me when Johnson went down because if you look at his history of injuries, he always get injured around this time. My dad was highly upset when we was all in Vegas. We was all watching the game against the Cowboys. He was just highly upset. But I'm not really concerned. If I had to say the two players I'm mainly concerned about, it would have to be Maddox and Johnson because Maddox is our best slot corner, and we already know what Johnson can do on the O line. Because we can't. I don't want to move Blankenship up into the corner position, especially. I want to keep him at safety because he's been doing a phenomenal job when Gardner Johnson was out. We could put Gardner Johnson in the slot, but it's gonna hurt us up backfield wise. So we definitely need Mattis back, especially with Johnson because when he was out, Minshew didn't know what to do, just pressure after pressure after pressure. So definitely getting Jalen Hurts back definitely helped us a lot. I could tell he's still kind of sore because the way he's throwing the ball and trying to make some plays. I could tell his shoulder's still sore. So definitely this first bye week, is definitely gonna help us a lot. I'm definitely confident in the playoffs, especially when we have everybody well rested. They give us some time. It also showed that how deep the team is. So when somebody come down, next person step up. Like we had Dickerson and everybody else step up when Johnson was out. So I'm not really worried. I'm definitely confident in the playoffs.
Okay. Out of the, I guess, rest of the NFC teams in the playoffs, is there any one team that you don't want to see? Even though I'm not saying you might not necessarily think y'all wouldn't win the game, but is there
Mhm.
one team like I would rather not see them if I didn't have to in the playoffs?
49ers, bro. 49ers offer it, bro. Like to see like the consistency they've been doing, and then on top of that, they probably the one team I could say that's top 10 in offense and defense. Like that old line is scary, defensive wise and offensive wise. They getting Debo
Yeah,
back fully.
I did not know he was back this week. Like I'm watching the
Mhm.
game and like they're on defense at this point, but the camera pans to the sideline. I was like, is that 19? Debo
Mhm.
suited up, and then they got back on the field of offense. They handed him the ball. And I was like, oh, this man is back. I thought he would be out at least until the playoffs, maybe miss a playoff game.
Lockout too. But
That's
they said no. They said he beat the injury bug, so he came back. So then Kittle had a phenomenal season. Christian McCaffrey had a great season. I feel like he should definitely be in the talks for All Pro.
oh yeah.
Definitely. But that whole team and then the fact that they did it with Brock Purdy, the last pick of the draft, who they had no touches on anything. That shows how deep that team is. That show you how great coaching they have. Um, I'm definitely scared of them. I'm not even gonna lie. I definitely want to face them because that team just defensively as well with Fred Warner and all of them. They lock up for sure. So that if I had to say a team in the NFC, I'm definitely don't want to see them for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into these playoff predictions and we'll just take it round by round. So, excuse me, wild card matchups, and we'll start with the AFC. Chiefs secured the bye. I
Mhm.
know it's a technicality because technically, with the Bills Bengals situation, not playing the game, the Bills had a chance to still, if they would have won out, they would have had the first seed. You ask me, I'm not no bias. I really think the Bengals were on their way to kind of beating the Bills pretty bad that night. Like that whole atmosphere was on 100 and they came out great. And I think before Hamlin's injury, I think they were on their way to take a 14-3 lead. Like they were finna go punch in another touchdown. But of course, we'll never know. football gods kind of way of fixing it is if they both win this weekend, they will face up in the playoffs. It's not fair to the Bengals because the game will be in Buffalo. I think that should low key be at a neutral site or a coin flip since they were going to try to do that with the Ravens. But Jags Chargers in the 4-5, Bengals Ravens in the 3-6, and then Bills Dolphins in the 2-7. So Cam Sanders first. How you think wild card weekend goes for the AFC? Who you got coming out? What games you think gonna be close, or is anybody on upset alert? How you think the weekend plays out in the AFC?
All right, man. AFC, man. Start off with the Jags versus the Chargers. This game gonna be very, very, very close. You know, two good defenses, two good offenses or whatever. Got two young elite quarterbacks, not elite, but whatever, two young quarterbacks and this one gonna be very, very close. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think Chargers are just a tad bit better team. The Jags are very scared to go up against. So like I said, it's gonna be a very, very close, very, very close game. But I think the Chargers are just a tad bit much more better team. I think they're gonna pull it off and they're gonna win this game. Now Cincy and Baltimore, I mean, there's no Lamar. I know they're divisional rivals and stuff like that. So this game, most likely this game's gonna be very close. It's gonna be very grimy. Well, it's either gonna be this game either gonna go two ways. It's either gonna be very grimy, very close, or Cincinnati gonna beat the hell out of Baltimore. So I mean, it's literally either or. But I think Cincy gonna pull off the dub. I think they go on to next round, and so now this Buffalo and Miami game, same deal. No Tua. It could be a very grimy game. Buffalo haven't been really playing like
Buffalo,
and it's obviously why, because Von Miller was out and stuff like that. But they still dealing with injuries and stuff like that. But I think they pull off that win. I don't think it'll be no upsets. If you want to consider Chargers over the Jags upset, but I don't see no upset in the wild card. I think Buffalo wins and goes to the next round.
all right. Oh, you can.
I think with me, I'm gonna start with the Chargers and Jags. I actually got the Jaguars. The reason why I say that is because it all depends on how Coach Staley coaches. He scares me sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie. His decision on playing Mike Williams, knowing that he has like a history of injuries, and playing him now he had the back issue. It all depends on how Mike Williams plays well. I heard they say he still had like a lingering back issue, and it all depends on how they play because he's that big second down threat, third down threat. So you can't always put the ball on Keenan Allen. So they're gonna have to like raise the intensity with Josh Palmer. So I got the Jaguars pulling that off, and it also goes with coaching. Staley's still a rookie to this, and Peterson, he has so much experience. You can't go against that, especially from him being an underdog coach to where he at now. That's gonna be hard to beat. So I got the Jaguars pulling that off. It's gonna be a shootout, of course. As far as the Chiefs, I mean, I say Chiefs. I got by as far as the Bills and Dolphins, they got, like you said, quarterback issue. Variables, they've been going each other all season. I got the Bills pulling that off, but like you said, like Cam said, the injuries been eating them up with everybody going down since week one at that, with Michael Hyde being down. Their defense, it has been good, but it hasn't been like what it usually be over the years. So it's gonna be a shootout because they don't have as much depth to cover Tua. I mean, not cover Tua, cover Waddle in them. So I got the Bills. I actually gonna say it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna come down to like maybe not saying field goal, but close to a field goal, because it's gonna be that close. Because their defense is not like where it should be. And same thing with the Bengals. It all depends on how Trey Henderson. I heard he still got that wrist injury, so It all depends on their defense as well. And I know a little bit of O-line started banged up and the college out for the season, so the O-line used to be, but who the Ravens have, really, if you ask me. I mean, defensively they've been good, and Smith and everybody been good, but offensively, I mean, who's gonna feed Andrews and stuff? So I got the Bengals beating that one, and then they're gonna go up to the next round as well.
Okay. So, first matchup, Chargers Jags. You kind of took the words out of my mouth and what I was gonna say. I'll throw this in there too, because I know me and Cam Sanders were talking earlier about this weekend is kind of like a Sean Payton sweepstakes, we think, and some of the outcomes of these games might determine where he's at. And honestly, Staley had won his job back for at least next year when they sold up the playoff spot. And then I think last week, combined with if they lose this weekend, he might have lost it right back. Because I don't know what the Chargers literally had nothing to play for. They were locked into the 5th seed, maybe play in the first quarter, maybe play in the first half, but like really, you shouldn't be playing your starters 3 quarters into the game versus the Denver Broncos, who are, of course have nothing to play for. So they just going all out. And not only did Mike Williams, which is back spasm, they say he's still playing, but back spasm on top of, I know his ankle still isn't 100% from injuring that earlier in the season, because that's just one of those injuries that linger. But not only him, Joey Bosa also went out the game, and he's injury riddled his whole career, and they definitely gonna need him to get to Trevor Lawrence or whatever quarterback they face if they move on this weekend. So with that, those two bonehead coaching decisions, if they're not, playing up to their capability, or they got to be out parts of the game because they're not healthy enough, I think the Jags will take the game. But I think my gut is telling me, and it sucks because if they win, Bengals win, my team is gonna face the Chargers divisional round. And that's honestly, that's my one matchup. I know the Bills, they played us tough these past couple years. The Bengals, obviously, we haven't beat them since they got Burrow. But the one team I'm scared to face in the playoffs as a Chiefs fan is the Chargers, because it's a divisional game. Every game since Herbert has played, it's been decided by 4 points or less. We beat them twice already this season. So beating a team 3 hard, especially a divisional opponent, is probably the hardest thing to do in the NFL playoffs. But I think they got too much talent. And while Doug Peterson is a great coach and he's been there, nobody on that Jacksonville team has really been in this situation before. The Chargers is kind of the same, but I mean, they got Derwin James, Bosa, Keenan Allen. There's some guys who, been in this playoff atmosphere, even though it's been a little minute since. But I think this will be a game where Herbert kind of, not that he needs it, but I think he'll kind of boost up his resume where, for the longest these past couple years, like, oh yeah, Herbert's great, obviously, but he hasn't made the playoffs. Now he'll get a chance to actually perform in the playoffs. I think it'll be a close game, grimy, but I think Chargers are gonna pull it out at the end. And I think they win probably by 4 or more, and they win in Jacksonville. For the Bengals Ravens, this one is tough because yes, the Ravens don't have anybody, but I think what they're saying is Lamar probably not going to play, but they said Huntley is back on track to play this weekend. I don't know how healthy he is, but they're saying more likely, if nothing else, he'll be playing. It's got to be tough as hell to beat a team 1 week and literally play the exact same game the next week and still, beat them. On top of that, the Ravens are the team this year that has given Joe Burrow the most problems. And then this weekend, it didn't help. They were already down Lyle Collins for the year. Alex Kappas had a severely sprained ankle, so he's in a walking boot. He's definitely not playing this week. If they win, it'll be up in the air for the divisional. I'm going to say the Bengals win, but if I had to put a team on upset alert, it would be them. Not because I'm not saying they're not a better team than the Ravens, but because the Ravens defense is playing so well and now they're down 2 of their 5 starting linemen, and we already know the problems the Bengals have had this past year and a half with getting Joe Burrow, the most sacked quarterback in NFL history. That's just going to make for a really tough game. They beat them twice. Like I said, they just played them last week in Cincy. The game is in Cincy again. I think all it's going to take is a few big plays here or there. They can get to Burrow, force a sack, fumble, or something. Get good get inside the Bengals territory on the recovery and be set up to score easy points. Ravens could definitely walk away with this game in a very grimy way just because of everything else that's happened around the game. But the Bengals are the better team. They should win. But this is probably going to be the toughest playoff game, I think, this weekend in the AFC. As for the Bills and the Dolphins, like I said, the Bills, they haven't been playing their best football, but I think they'll handle the Dolphins. I just can't see a third string quarterback with the way the Dolphins have been playing going in there into Buffalo and winning. If they win that game, if the Dolphins were to pull up upset, they would have to have a great running game, which could happen because the Bills defense kind of been iffy against the run. But I think the Bills handle them easily. So I got the Bengals, Bills and Chargers winning this weekend. But I will say my upset alert, if I had to pick one, I think the Ravens might be able to pull off something crazy just because, like I said, everything I listed. That's just a tough. It's really the Bengals kind of are the team that got screwed the most out of that DeMar Hamlin situation because they go on to win that game, and then they would have sold up the AFC North that week, and then maybe they wouldn't have rested because that would have put them in second place over the Bills, and then they would have. You say they win the game this week versus the Ravens still because Lamar's still not playing. Second seed, Bills would then be third. They would have to be playing the Ravens right now. The Bengals would get the Dolphins. I think that would be an easy win for them. And then if the Bills do win their playoff game, the Bills would then have to travel back to Cincy for a playoff game. Now they got to play the Ravens for the second week in a row, a divisional opponent who's got not has their number, but plays them the toughest. And then if they win that, they got to go to Buffalo if Buffalo wins, which most likely will happen. So they definitely got shafted with everything. I know the NFL was in a rock and hard place, so it's not much else they could do. But definitely Bengals, this is going to be like last year they had a Cinderella run. They make it back to the Super Bowl this year. I think it's more impressive than what they did last year. So that's how I think the AFC wild card plays out. To the NFC wild card, so Vikings, Giants, in the 3-6 matchup. San Francisco, because the Vikings got absolutely blasted by the Packers a couple weeks ago, they fell out of the second place. San Francisco moved in. They now face the Seattle Seahawks in the 2-7 matchup. And then Monday night, wild card matchup between the Bucks and the Cowboys. Yeah, let's say more. Go ahead, Kansas. How you think this NFC wild card weekend plays out? Because these are actually, I think, a lot of games are probably going to be close to tough because it's just the playoffs. That's the nature of it. But I think a lot of these NFC games, if not all of them, are going to be pretty close this weekend. And I'll explain why, of course, later. But what's your take on the NFC?
Okay, we'll start off with the Seattle and San Fran. I mean, come on. I think San Fran easily gonna run through them. I mean, I don't know why you say you don't know.
I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain for sure.
I don't know why you say that because I don't see nobody stopping this Kyle Shanahan team. So I mean, I think they're gonna run through Seattle pretty easily. Blowout win, I feel like, but I don't know. Maybe Seattle surprised me. Now to this New York and Minnesota game. This is my upset alert. Minnesota, like, they're very talented, but it just comes down to, do I really want to trust Kirk Cousins? And it's kind of crazy that I'm saying that because he going up against Daniel Jones. And it's like, do I really want to trust Daniel Jones? But no, I trust Dable more than I trust damn near almost any other coach in the NFC right now. Because it's like he goes out there and he has this team thinking, like I said this before, he has his team thinking that they can win any game, any match, bro. So I think they're gonna play it out very, very high level. I think Saquon gonna get back to being Saquon. I think they win this game. I think it'll be very grimy. If the Vikings do win this game, though, I think it'll be because of Justin Jefferson. I think he just gets loose, goes off for a crazy game, and I mean, after that's like there's nothing you can do.
I think he's due because he didn't. I mean, they weren't really necessarily playing that hard because they got the lead early for Chicago this past weekend, but he had a very low game by his standards, especially I guess with the record being on the line, and then of course the Green Bay game he got shut down. So I could definitely see a Justin Jefferson, the Randy Moss game, 3 receptions, 193 yards, like something crazy if they let him pop off. But the game is at 3:30. So is this a prime time? I know it's playoffs, so this the game on,
It's prime time.
but it's prime time.
It's prime
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
All these games prime time for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think so. Now the last game. Last game I'll touch on the wild card. Tampa Bay and Dallas. Oh man, but
I've been calling this for I swear
You've
I've been
calling it.
calling this for the past month and a half. I saw it from a mile away, bro.
What Stephen A called Dallas a mistake waiting to happen. But nah, man. I think they finally get it done.
You think they beat Tampa Bay?
I think they finally get it done. I know it's a hostile environment. I want to look at this as an upset win because I think Dallas is favored in this game. Actually,
It's been hovering between 2.5, 3 points. So yeah, they the favorite.
now I hope Dallas learned from their previous matches versus Tampa Bay. Please run the ball.
Yeah.
Please don't even run the ball with Zeke. Run the ball with Zeke. Get the ball to TP. Let TP do what he do, man. I mean, TP's a dog. I mean, I don't know what else to say about Tony Pollard. He's a beast. But I think you got to minimize having Dak throw the ball because, like I said before, if he throws a couple of interceptions, Tampa Bay's the type of team to capitalize off of that. And once they capitalize off of that, I mean, it's really no stopping them after that. So I think it'll be a very close game, but I think Dallas will finally show up. Our guy that we picked for defensive player of the year. He hasn't really done much this last stretch of the year or whatever. I think he finally shows up. He might be dealing with an injury or whatever.
Oh, he is. That's what I was saying last week. They should have rested him, but Jerry Jones wanted to be stupid and like, well, I mean, technically we still have a chance for the first seed, so everybody's gonna play. And then they went out and dropped a dud versus the Commanders and rested nobody. Worst decision possible. But keep going. I'm gonna get to them, man.
Yeah. I hope he comes back. Comes back, get a couple of sacks. Get in Tom Brady's face or whatnot. I think Dallas pulls this off, but they have to minimize Dak throwing the ball because I mean, if he throws the ball 45 plus times, they will lose this game. I mean, there's no way around. If he throws 45 plus times or even 40 times, if he throws that much, they will lose this game. I'm sorry, and I hope they don't do that. I don't think they will, but hey, we'll see. But yeah, I got Dallas beating Tampa.
If you had to put a score on it, what you think?
I think around like 31-24.
Okay, that's fair. All right. What about you, Cam Swan? NFC playoffs, man.
So the 49ers and the Seahawks, like Cam said, that's an easy matchup. I will say though, is that I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle put some points up, but I still got 49ers just win that. Like I said, it's hard to go against a Kyle Shanahan type of team with that defense and that offense. The reason why I say they'll put up points, it's not because of 49ers defense, but it all depends on how Brock Purdy will play. But I'm not worried about him, especially since Jimmy G's going to be there physically to be like coaching him as well. They're going to easily win that one. So that matchup, I'm not even worried about that matchup. I have two upsets though with this NFC matchups. I got the Giants over the Vikings. The reason why is Kirk Cousins remind me of Matt Stafford last year. And let me tell you why. He only feeds Justin Jefferson. When you have KJ open, you have Adam open, you have TJ open. So he always forcing in tight windows. And then knowing the Vikings with their defense, especially I think they get McKinley back too, they're gonna try to like double, triple Jefferson, just like how the Packers did with Jair. And so it's gonna be tight for him to win that game. Because I don't know what it is with Kirk Cousins, but he did the same thing when he was in Washington. He only sees one receiver. Now he may get other receivers involved every now and then, like KJ had a monster game because Jefferson was shut down in the first half, so KJ had to have a monster game. When they came back, I think it was against the Colts. They came back and KJ had a absolutely terrific game, but he had to because everybody was double, triple teaming Jefferson. I feel like he's gonna do the same thing here, and it's hard to trust Cousins in prime time. It's absolutely hard. Time and time again, when he was in Minnesota, when he was in Washington, it's hard. So, because even when he was with Minnesota, he constantly kept feeding Thielen the ball, or constantly kept feeding Diggs, like it's either one or the other, but he doesn't do it equally. And you see the same thing with Jefferson. It's not even going against the Jefferson numbers. I'm all for it, but he even Thielen be screaming like, "Hey, I'm open," I'm here to he like, "Hey, I'm in the end zone," but he trying to feed Jefferson a tight slant, getting covered by by Gilmore. And I'm like, bro, he's wide open. Like, throw it to him. So I feel like he's gonna make a mistake and doing stuff like that. And that pressure gonna come to him. That the Giants front line is cold. I'm not even gonna lie. They legit. So they're gonna definitely get to him. I got the Giants pulling this off. I actually got to pull them off by 3. It's gonna be by a field goal. That's how I feel like they're gonna win that one. And with the Buccaneers and Cowboys, I've been waiting on this matchup. They on my parlay too. I got the Bucks winning this one, and the reason why is since Dak came back from injury, I think he threw like 7 or 8 picks and leads the league in that. And on top of that, if you look at his history of playing in the playoffs, especially last year against the 49ers, if you're a quarterback in the playoffs and you throw at least a pick or two, it's hard to come back from that. Especially a team like Tom Brady's team. It's hard to come against like that. Like you seen that happen, for example, with Matt Ryan with that whole 28-3 lead. If you throw that pick or if you have a turnover, it's hard to come back from that. And knowing Dak throwing 7 or 8 picks, come back from injury, you didn't play a full season, you lead the league in picks, that's not a good look. You're getting paid 36 to 40 mil throwing picks like that. I don't know. And then the only way I can say it's going to be a close game is because I can't count week 1. And the reason why I can't is because that defense with Tampa Bay had, that was like, they were shutting him down. It was 19-3. They were shutting the Cowboys down. But that was a fully healthy defense. Now, since then, everybody been going down from Shaq Barrett to other players. They've been having injury. Everybody been getting shut down with injuries. So it's going to be a shootout. And it's hard to get back against Brady because if you look at the last game against Carolina when they had like the playoffs on the line and Mike Evans went for like 207 and Brady went for 40-32, and Carolina itself is a great defensive team. So for them to put 40-32 on that type of team and 207, like 3 TDs, imagine when they do. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a shootout, but I got them winning by 3 as well.
Yeah. Me and Kim talk about like teams. It's just like whenever they play Tom Brady in a pressure situation, it's like they just have that urge to fold and just shit down their leg and hand him the game. Because if you give him any opportunity, he's gonna take it. Because they shouldn't be here. They're 8-9. Luckily, they played in the worst division in football, besides the AFC South. But I mean, even the AFC South winner had a winning record. Jaguars finished 9-8. Bucks finished 8-9. The Rams up 4 with 40 seconds left. They had the ball with 2 minutes left. Didn't take enough time off the clock. Let Tom Brady drive down the field, score. The Falcons had him. They let him come back, win. Carolina, they had him. Then Darnold throws an interception. Then he turns around and has a sack fumble. Got it. The Saints beating them all game as they usually do. And then last minute of the game, let Brady drive down the field, get a touchdown, and convert the 2-point conversion, take it to OT and win. Yeah, it is what it is. But I'll save them for last. The 2-7 game, 49ers. I get why y'all are saying this should just be an easy win for the 49ers. but I need y'all to think about these two stats. So before this year, Pete Carroll was 8-2 versus Kyle Shanahan in the 49ers with the Seahawks. Obviously, this year they went 0-2 versus the 49ers. But also, this is Brock Purdy's first playoff experience. And I get it. 49ers are loaded everywhere else. But we still don't know what Brock Purdy is going to do. We've seen Jimmy G be in the playoffs, and Kyle Shanahan will literally draw up a game. Like, I think it was that 2020 NFC Championship. He didn't even throw for more than like 50 yards. They just ran the ball all over Green Bay and won the game. And then you see in the Super Bowl versus my Chiefs when it had to come down to it and it was in Jimmy G's hands, he couldn't get it done. But Kyle Shanahan was protecting him that whole playoff run and not forcing him to throw the ball. I don't even think he's thrown more touchdowns than interceptions in his NFL playoff career. That's how bad he's been, but they've already shielded that with their team. But with Brock Purdy, he's been playing so well. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to give him some shots. And who knows what, like, I'm willing to bet Pete Carroll going to have some stuff drawn up that gets home to Brock Purdy or disguises some coverages that has him confused. And he might make a mistake or two. And as y'all were saying, playoff football mistakes are way bigger than in the regular season. And some mistakes you can't come back from. The 49ers are 10-point favorites. I'm not saying they won't win, but I really think Seattle finds a way to cover that and makes this closer than what it is. Because like I said, it's a divisional opponent. Pete Carroll's had success against Shanahan, and they've already beat them twice this season. The hardest thing to do is beat an NFL team 3 times in one singular season, especially a divisional opponent, because you know everything they run, everything they do. So it's always going to be a battle. And Seattle, they're playing with house money. They technically, the way they ended the season, they shouldn't be here either. But they got Lockett back healthy. Kenneth Walker looked really good last weekend. DK Metcalf, of course. As long as they can keep Bosa from ruining the game with like a sack fumble in crucial moments, I think Seattle can keep this game close. And I want to see Brock Purdy in a playoff game first before I just say, like, I think the 49ers can make the Super Bowl. But I still want to see Brock Purdy like do this in a playoff game. We got kind of a glimpse a couple weeks ago when they played the Raiders and they played bad and he was down 10 in the second half and he was able to lead them back. In a playoff situation, can he do that? We don't know. But literally, if he messes up, throws an interception and Seattle gets out to the lead early, it'll be interesting to see how he responds. And I really think they will get a turnover in that first half that'll kind of flip momentum and maybe have momentum their way, and I want to see how Brock Purdy responds to that. Now, they could come out here and just beat the shit out of him, like y'all were saying. But in the playoffs, with a divisional opponent, I just don't think that's happening, especially with a Pete Carroll-led team. And honestly, I get, 49ers got the best defense in the league, but I bet on them these last 2 weeks, and the defense has not looked good. Versus the Raiders, they let Jarrett Stidham put 34 on their head, and they did not have an answer for him at all. And then even this week, they ended up blowing out the Cardinals. But that first half was, I think the final score headed into halftime was like 13-10. And the Cardinals had David Blow at quarterback. And I remember, like, I got back to my hotel because I went dune riding. And then I was headed back to the sports book to go watch the games. And the game had literally started. And Cam texted me like, hey, Cardinals just scored on a flea flicker to start the game. And so they were up. And then Brock Purdy and the offense were kind of struggling those first couple drives. And Arizona was winning the game and hanging in there. I think the second to last possession and a half, J.J. Watt gets a sack that gets them off the field, and Cardinals get the ball back, and they get a field goal. And I'm like, man, the 49ers really going to make this a tougher game than it has to be. So I get, they are the number one defense, but they've shown maybe it's they lost a little focus. Like, hey, it's the Raiders, the Cardinals. We should be able to handle them. But they haven't been on their A game these last 2 weeks. Maybe they'll get back to that, and I think they probably will. But I think Seattle can kind of get some good plays against them and make this a game more than people are thinking. For the Minnesota Giants game, call me crazy. I know it's prime time. But this is the one matchup Kirk Cousins could have got where I trust him more than the opposing quarterback. Because even though Daniel Jones has had a decent season, he's led the Giants here, I still do not trust Daniel Jones for 1 second to to play good in a game that really truly matters. And I get the Vikings haven't played well versus good teams and Kirk Cousins in prime time, all that. But I really think with they have experience in this moment, and it's a home game. I think they'll handle the Giants. A couple weeks ago, they just had a close game where they had to win by a field goal, and I think they win by at least a touchdown this time around. I think the Giants just don't have enough. How I'm talking about earlier, they don't have any receivers. They're gonna have to put the game on Saquon essentially. I think the Vikings defense will get enough stops, or they'll force a turnover here or there that'll help flip the game for them. And I think Justin Jefferson has a big game, and if they are double and tripling him to the point where they're not, where he can't do that, I think Dalvin Cook has a great game as well. And Kirk Cousins just game manages his way to an easy playoff victory this week. Call me crazy, but I think the Vikings win this one with relative ease. And now to the Monday night game, man. Like I just said probably like 5-10 minutes ago. I've been calling this for the last 2 months. And some people were calling me crazy and like, bro, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, no, I was like, I literally, I'll go back and try to find the episode where I said it the first time. But I literally sat here and told Kim, I was like, you know what this is leading up to, right? I was like, the Bucks are gonna struggle and struggle, and I literally would say, I'm like, the Bucks probably won't even finish the season with the winning record, but at the end of the day, you know, because it's Brady, the rest of the NFC South will still find a way to give him this division, and he's gonna get a home playoff game. And because the Eagles are so good and the Cowboys can't win first place from them since they're in the same division, Cowboys are going to have to travel to Tampa Bay. And then on top of that, now Cowboys aren't even playing good football. Dak Prescott leads the league in interceptions, even though he missed like 4 games. And all it takes is one for Tom Brady to, get right. You give him an opportunity, next thing you know, your hopes are gone. Tom Brady as an underdog at home in a playoff game, I've learned my lesson betting against him in the playoffs. I'm not doing it this time. I got the Bucks winning. That's my first official pick for the wild card weekend. I'll probably still pick some of the games how I've been saying my predictions, but one bet I literally have in. I seen Cam Swanson to me. I think this morning or yesterday, he got the Bucks at plus 125. I got them at plus 120. I think the line might move a little bit more because people are kind of like, oh, like, do I really want to bet against Tom Brady? No. So I think a lot of money might be going towards the Bucks, but I just know this game, Cowboys will probably play them tough. But at some point in this game, it's gonna be, if not one or the other, if not both. It's gonna be Dak throwing a stupid interception that gives the Bucks the ball in Dallas territory, and then it's gonna be a phantom flag that saves a drive that goes for Tom Brady, where everybody in the mama gonna be like, bro, that's not the right call. And we all gonna know it's not the right call. But because it's Tom Brady, y'all know how this goes. He's gonna get the call when it matters the most, and Cowboys fans are gonna be pissed, rightfully so. And he's gonna lead them right down the way and get a touchdown. And they're gonna seal the game. I think they win this one 27-23, straight up. And I think the Cowboys will be winning majority of the game. And in that third quarter, Dak's going to throw a crucial interception. Bucks are going to cut it to one possession. And then it'll be like 2017. Then Cowboys will drive. They'll mess up and not get a touchdown. They'll kick a field goal. And then Brady will drive down, get the ball, score a touchdown. And I think they'll add a field goal at the end to finish him off. Or either that, or it'll be like 23-20. And they'll kick that field goal instead of getting the touchdown. It'll be tied 20-20. And they'll kick a field goal instead of getting a touchdown. And you'll leave Brady with 2-3 minutes, 2 timeouts or something to end the game. And it's going to be like, you know exactly what he's about to do. He's about to lead this drive down the field. And next thing you know, in a season where, I mean, Cowboys look good to start the season, even with, what's his name, a quarterback and Dak out. And then they got Dak back. They were still kind of iffy, but they were winning games. And then now in the season with probably his worst game of his career versus Washington last week, where I think he had like a 14.8 quarterback rating. And then you go into the wild card and lose after this whole season, the way it's played out. They're going to be in shambles, but I think it's for the best. Because I think they're going to lose Monday night. Tuesday morning, McCarthy will be fired, and probably within the next week or two, Sean Payton will be hired as the next Cowboys head coach. And then I think they might have a chance, for the future. But as this year, people watch this be like, oh, you're just a Cowboys hater. Like, y'all always do this. No, I've been saying this for the last 2 months, and the NFL script, like it's been written. Like I knew this was gonna happen. The Bucks are gonna win this game, and it's probably gonna be on something stupid, but it's just what it is. Like, I think Tom Brady is 7-0 versus in his career versus Cowboys.
Yeah.
I don't think that's changing Monday night. If it will, it'll be the biggest win of Dak's career. And if they do, or if they are able to beat the Buccaneers, honestly, I don't know who wins. I'm thinking, unless the Giants beat Minnesota, y'all would face them, Cam. I don't know who wins that matchup because it's just a divisional game and it's like up in the air. Both y'all played each other without the starting quarterbacks. I don't know what to expect in that game. Turnovers will probably decide. And Jalen Hurts, he wasn't turning the ball over, all season. But then the last 2 games he's played, he's turned the ball over. So maybe this extra week will help him get rested. But I don't know what would happen in that game. But I don't think it happens because I think the Bucks handle business and they win. So that's our wild card picks. So with what we picked, the divisional round in the AFC would be, I think y'all had Jaguars. So it would
Yeah.
be the Jags versus the Chiefs, Bengals at the Bills.
Chargers.
You had the Chargers too? Okay, so me and Ken Sanders, we both had Chargers. They would then travel to Arrowhead, and then Buffalo and Cincy in the 2-3 matchup in the divisional round. So Ken Sanders, you first. How do you think the AFC divisional will play out?
Kansas City versus Chargers. I know you say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season, but I think if any man that can do it, I think it's Patrick Mahomes. I think it'll be a very close game, but I think it'll be a last second drive, a last play drive, or whatever you want to call it, and I think Patrick Mahomes will show why he's why he's great, why he's the best in the world right now. I think y'all do come out very. I think both number 1 seeds in AFC and NFC. I mean, we'll touch up on the NFC, but I think both teams will come out very very slow to start off the game. So I can see the Chargers getting out hot or whatever, probably like a 14-0 lead or like a 14-7, 14-3 lead, something like that. But it's just like it's kind of like what you said before. It's like, one shot down, like
Yeah, I hate that they have to play like that. But every time they get down 10 plus, I'm like,
you feel no worries.
well,
Like
y'all just turned y'all literally hit the on button. Now they about to play. It shouldn't have to come down to that every time. I'm like it's honestly been kind of a blessing to have Patrick Mahomes. Because as a fan, literally every game, like, of course we lose games, but every game I watch, no matter what the score is, I never have a doubt that we're going to lose whatsoever. Even though it pisses me off when we are down 10-0 or 14-0. But once they score that, it never crossed my mind like, oh man, we're going to lose the game. No, I go check what the live odds are, and I go bet us to win the game while we're underdogs. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. But yeah, that Charge game, that just, I'm not gonna sleep that night before if that's who we gotta play.
I think I'll pull out the dub though. I think I'll pull out the dub. Maybe about 3 points, maybe 4, but I think y'all pull out the dub. Now this Cincy and Buffalo game, this game got to be played at a neutral site, right?
I don't think so. I think that was part of the problem too, with Cincy saying they're getting screwed over. I think
Also,
if they would have to go to Buffalo, even though if they would have won when they played, the game would then be in Cincy. So that yeah, it should be in a neutral site. Honestly, I think there were talks like if they both win and that's the matchup, I think Cincy was gonna try to protest and say like, hey, no, we need to either have this at a neutral site or flip a coin like y'all were trying to do with us with Baltimore. Because I mean they have a point. They were up. Like obviously it was only the first quarter, but they were up 7-3 and driving in that game. Of course, we'll never know how it ended, but they have every right to say like we could have won that game. So that'll be interesting to see. Like
Now this game, it's gonna be a very close game. It's definitely gonna be a shootout. Both teams are built to have shootouts. Both these offenses are crazy build. Two of the top
I'm sorry, bro, because I got the UT game on. Y'all cut it to 2, but y'all just missed like 3 layups in a row before finally 2. That's why I'm sitting there like, bro, just put the ball. Like they playing tipsy at the glass. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
You good. It's two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, two top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. Man, it's gonna be a very good game. I think it's gonna be a shootout. I think Cincy pulls out the dub. And I'm kind of selfish because I kind of want to see that Kansas City and Cincy rematch. I need Pat to get his get back. So I kind of need to see that again. So I'm kind of being a little bit selfish right now. But I still think Cincy I think they win this game. But like I said, it'll be very close and it'll be a shootout. So I think like a shootout, it'll be like some crazy shit. Like I think it'd be like 47-43 type shit. I think it'd be a crazy ass shootout. So yeah.
Okay. What about you, Cam Swan?
So I got Chiefs and Jaguars. I got the Chiefs taking that one. The reason why is because one, it's hard to bet against Pat Mahomes, arguably the best QB in the game right now. Two, like we said before, the Jaguars don't really have any playoff experience. So the playoff jitters is gonna start eating them up. I will get credit when credit's due. The Chiefs defense, the last few games have been balling out. Especially like forcing turnovers, applying quarterback pressure. So that's going to pretty much eat the Jaguars. And then it also can come down to coaching. Andy Reid's definitely going to outcoach the Jaguars for sure in that playoff run. So I got them winning that one. I got them winning. I want to say about 10. I want to say about 10. I got them there because Jaguars, they are hungry. At the end of the day, they're still a hungry team. But when you have playoff experience and you have everybody clicking together with Mahomes, Kelsey, McKinnon, everybody just gelling, it's going to be hard to beat that. With the Bills and Bengals, that's going to be a shootout. Like Cam said, it's not fair to the Bengals. However, I feel like in this game, the injury bug is going to really, really eat up the Bills in this one. As I said before, like you said, they were driving down the field about to make it 14-3 before the injury happened. It's going to be hard for the Bills to cover all 3 receivers because we already know how they can cover Jamar Chase. Okay, you still got T. Higgins, who arguably, in my opinion, if he go to a different team, he'll arguably a wide receiver 1. Already been said there before. And then you got Tyler Boyd, who he'll explode. Still 27, 28 years of age, and he still can ball out. And then on top of that, you got Hayden Hurst, who having arguably one of the best tight end seasons this year. That was a great pickup when that lets TJ go. So I feel like in this one, it's going to be a shootout, but I got the Bengals beating the Bills. I hate to say it, but because at first, as I said in the podcast at first, I was real confident with the Bills before the injuries started piling up. And them losing Von, I wasn't really as afraid when they lost Michael Hyde because they got secondary depth. But when they lost Von Miller, that's when I'm like, okay, this is going to be hard because now you got to depend on Ed Oliver and everybody else to step it up. And Von Miller, he just brings that pressure on a team that, like you see, we did the Rams last year. He's just a different type of player. It's going to be hard to replace on the injury. So I got the Bengals beating them. It's going to be a real close one. I got them beating the Bills for sure.
Okay, yeah. I'll touch on that one first too. I would have the Bengals winning that one. I think they're a better team, and even though they have the offensive line problems now with the injuries, Bills don't have the player to capitalize on that, and that's like Von Miller was essentially they paid him all that money to come in and be the closer. When drive is on the line, you got to get a stop. He can get home and get a sack that completely wrecks the comeback. And without that, I think Burrow is going to be able to dice up that defense. Secondary hasn't looked good to end the season. The Bills, they've kind of developed a run game, but I don't think they'll be able to run against Cincy for real. And for whatever reason, as great as Stephon Diggs is as a wide receiver in the playoffs, it's always the game they lose. He always has a silent game where he's like the Chiefs have shut him down the last 2 times we played him. Last year was Gabe Davis who went off, and now it's talks where Bills fans are mad because Gabe Davis isn't the wide receiver two they thought he would turn out to be this year. And without a certified wide receiver two, and Josh Allen still kind of having he shirred up his interception problem a little bit, and then last week he reverted back to he had a horrible red zone interception that let New England back in the game, and they got saved by Naheem Hines last week, and thank God because I had him in my parlay. But 2 kickoff returns for a touchdown, you're not gonna repeat that. I mean, not ever, but not for a long time. You won't do that again. But if they don't get that, they lose that game because the offense wasn't doing anything. I think Cincy will find their way right back in the AFC Championship game, despite maybe Burrow getting sacked quite a bit throughout these 2 playoff games with the Ravens and then the Bills. But yeah, I don't know if it'll necessarily be a shootout. I think Cincinnati will win by double digits because I think the Buffalo offense just isn't consistent enough right now. And I think Cincy's offense will be hitting on all cylinders, and they won't have an answer to stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And you got Mixon and Piron in the backfield running the ball hard right now. So, yeah, I got Cincy winning that one. As for my Chiefs, it will be the toughest game ever. But I think we'll find a way to pull it out the Chargers. I'll just be my nerves will be on 10 the whole game. It's not gonna be it's gonna come down to whoever has the ball last, whether that be Mahomes, can he go get a score, or can our defense stop Herbert? That's just how it goes when we play the Chargers. Derwin James, the Kelsey matchup. Obviously, the last time we played them, Kelsey went off, and I'm sure Derwin James will be looking to kind of get his get back. If Bosa's healthy, he's going to cause us problems. He'll get to Mahomes once or twice. Hopefully, that's not a sack fumble. I think what's good for us is our defense has, got better these last few weeks, which is kind of always how it's been since we got Spags. Defense will look iffy throughout the year, and then as the final weeks come together, like you look at it, and our defense is playing really well. If we're gonna have any playoff success, and it's crazy that this is even a stat, but I pointed this out to Cam. I'm pretty sure when it happened, because that's when I found out the stat. In all of our playoff runs, Chris Jones does not have a playoff sack whatsoever in his career, which is crazy to think about. Of course, he's getting doubled. I mean, Aaron Donald gets doubled and tripled, but he still finds a way to get playoff sacks. Last year in that AFC Championship, Cam, so I don't know if you remember, this is the play I'm referring to. He had Joe Burrow in his hands in a crucial third down, and he let Joe Burrow escape out and then run for first down. And if we would have got that stop, I think we win the game.
I
Because
remember that he slid and everything.
it was like 7 minutes in the fourth, and the Bengals continued on to go on a long drive and tie the game up, and then they had to go for 2, and they got that as well. And I was like, yeah, as soon as Chris Jones didn't get us out, I knew our defense was going to be deflated, and we were going to go let them score. But he's been playing at arguably, he won't win it because Nick Bosa has been so great, and he deserves it. But Chris Jones has really been a defensive player of the year in his own right this year, and he's been the best rated interior defensive lineman by PFF, even though I'll take that grading with a grain of salt. But he's been the best according to them, and he's had an amazing year and an amazing last month. He's been getting to the quarterback like crazy. He's going to have to get to Herbert once or twice, and we're also going to have somebody else get to Herbert. Frank Clark went out with a groin injury the first half this week. He's trending towards playing. Of course, we got the week bye, which is good, so he'll get to rest. I'm thinking he'll be able to go, but if not, that'll be a big missing piece because even though he hasn't gotten to the quarterback well, he's key in stopping the run. He's a great run stopper on the edge, so that'll be a big piece. But I think the biggest X factor we have is the fact we should be getting McCole Hardman back now, and nobody knows what the offense is going to look like with him, Tony, Kelsey, McKinnon, and Juju all on the field at the same time. But I know Andy Reid has got hella plays dialed up, and I think we're gonna be able to dice up a lot of these teams because they won't know what hit them. And Patrick Mahomes is playing at an elite level right now. So, yeah, I got us in Cincy in the championship game. And I believe that then will be played at a neutral site. I don't know what that neutral site will be yet, but all I know is Chiefs fans travel well. And honestly, if that's the matchup, I think that's kind of the perfect thing for us. Because for whatever reason, Mahomes plays amazing on the road. And even though we've had recent playoff success, we're still only 2-2 in the AFC Championship games the last 4 years in Arrowhead since we've hosted it the last 4 years. But it's like until we got Mahomes, we had some incredible playoff chokes in our own house. And anytime we have a bad play or we end a drive, it kind of you could just feel the tension in the stadium, even watching on TV, where fans kind of get tight, the players get tight. It's like, dang, it's that monkey. Like even though we've won a Super Bowl and we've got it off our back, it's still that monkey that's like, man, are we gonna lose a game in Arrowhead again when it matters the most? So I think a neutral site game would honestly be best for our team, and I think that we would play much more freely. But we'll touch on that next. But move to the NFC side now. For me, I think really for all of us, except Kim, for me and you, Kim Swan, we got Bucks winning, so they would go to your Eagles. Well, no, because you have the Giants winning, huh?
Yeah, I got the Giants winning.
The Giants, because they're the 7th seed, would go to the Eagles, and then the Bucks would get the 49ers. I think you have the same. You just got the Cowboys winning, but you got the Giants winning too, huh, Kim?
Mhm.
So Giants at the Eagles for y'all, and then you got the Cowboys at the 49ers. You got the Bucks at the 49ers. I got the Bucks at the Eagles, and I got the Vikings at the 49ers. So Ken Sanders, how you think divisional round goes to NFC?
Divisional round. We'll touch on the Philly versus Giants first. This is a divisional game, obviously. Um, like I said with the Chiefs, I think Philly will come out, kind of slow, kind of rusty. Jalen Hurts gonna have to, get back in rhythm pretty much. But I think they pull off this win. I think the run game would be too much for the Giants, even though like Cam Swan was saying, that front seven is pretty it's pretty good for the Giants. They do that they do the damn thing over there. But I think Nick will have them boys ready to play. I think Jalen Hurts will be ready to play. I think everybody on that defense will be healthy by then. Um, you said Lane Johnson probably not playing that round two.
He nah. If they since they got a bye week now, he'll play.
He'll play.
If
So
they
yeah.
didn't have a bye, he was not gonna play.
So yeah, they're gonna have Lane Johnson back. I mean, at any capacity that he's at, I mean, he's gonna be very effective or whatnot. So you know what he can do. So having him back would be big. So I think Philly wins this game. It'll be very close because, like I said, I think Philly will come out slow, but I don't think Giants will be able to. I don't think Giants will be able to handle Philly, but I think Philly will win this. Will win that game. Now this Dallas and San Fran game. This game is very interesting because I think Dallas is built to beat San Francisco. What happened?
Carr just hit a 3, take the lead.
Take the lead.
Up 3 with 50 seconds left.
That's big, I know. I think Dallas is built to beat San Fran, but I don't think they will because, like I said, man, Kyle Shanahan. I mean, his offense is like quarterback proof. It's like it's hard to be like very bad in that offense with like anyone. I think, like Bryce was saying, I think they'll probably take even though Brock Purdy has been doing good, I think they will still try to play very conservative. I think they'll, put the ball in those running backs' hands and Chris McCaffrey hand, Debo's hand. I think they'll run down Dallas throw or whatnot. Dallas not really big on like stopping the run this year. They're not really that great at it. So I think San Fran will handle them pretty good. And I think San Fran wins. And I got Philly and San Fran in the conference championship.
Okay.
All right, with me, I'm gonna start with my Eagles first with the Giants. Um, More so, I got my Eagles winning that one. It all depends on health. It all depends on how Johnson comes from injury. I'm praying and hoping Maddox can come back from his toe injury. They said more than likely he will play. Cause we definitely gonna need him in the slot. If somehow Daniel Jones want to do screenplays with Saquon, or he's gonna do like slot passes with Saquon, that we can stop that with ease. Another reason why I say the Eagles can definitely win that one. I agree we'll definitely start off slow. We also did the same thing in our final game against the Giants. And that was against a backup as it is. But I feel like we'll start a little slow because we come off a fresh bye, and people are like come off injuries. But I say we'll get the dice rolling by the second quarter. I believe Devontae will set the tone first to get everything going. Then everybody has to follow his steps like he's been doing the last 6 weeks. With that being said, also, I feel like we can beat them because the Giants, who they gonna throw the ball to, especially when like in crush moments. You can't always throw to Saquon because if he's, like I said, double, triple, you got Maddox and all them on him, you can't find a ball to throw it to Slayton, and you're going to try to take off running. The Eagles are really good against the run. You got Sweat and Davis on them guarding the run. So, and you try to throw the pass, like who else you going to throw it to? And then on top of that, I'm going to call it right now. This is going to be James Bradbury revenge game. If they do play somehow, this is gonna be his revenge game for the Giants dumping him for no reason. This is gonna be his revenge game against Daniel Jones. So I got the Eagles winning that one. To go with the Buccaneers and the 49ers. This is gonna be a great game. Potential rematch as well. I definitely have the 49ers win this one. It's gonna be very close though. And the reason why I said, because at first I wanted to say upset, but with the Bucks defense and with all the injuries coming on, with them losing Barrett and more so other players, because they don't have the same key pieces they had in their title run before when they won. It's gonna eat them up, their defense, because they're not gonna have anybody who can guard Debo, McCaffrey, and on top of that guard Kittle. Like we said before in the first round, it all depends on how Brock Purdy, plays. But Kyle Shanahan, I feel like in this round, he's going to find a way to protect him because it's hard to bet against Brady. It's extremely hard. And we don't want to turn the ball over, like I said before, because one turnover and that's game. And knowing Tom Brady, he's gonna find a way to draw the ball down. So and then the Buccaneers have been like gluing. They've been getting together the last few weeks, especially when, like I said, they're playing against Carolina. They just came together. So I feel like he's gonna find a way to give him the Jimmy G effect. And then on top of Jimmy G, it's still rumored that he may play in the playoffs. So they haven't considerably ruled him out.
They would be stupid to even move away from Brock Purdy.
I'm saying that'd be a risk. But if Brock Purdy's playing bad for somehow, some way, I wouldn't be surprised they put him in. Just to save the game, just to have Kyle Shanahan protect him and just have him do trick plays or whatever with Debo and McCaffrey. And then on top of that, if in this matchup, who's going to be the deciding factor is going to be McCaffrey, because him and Debo, they're like they don't play their positions. Like McCaffrey is literally like a wide receiver. So who's going to guard the outside with that when they have injuries? You can't keep putting Winfield and stuff because you can't keep putting Davis because they've been having injuries themselves. And then now Debo fully healthy, and the Kittle from last year, this year with Purdy, it's like he's been dominant. He's been saying he want the ball. And these last few games, he's been getting touchdowns and receiving. I think he's been over 100 yards all but one game. I think the last 5 games. So Kittle had an all-pro season as well, starting off real slow as well himself. So I got the 49ers and the Eagles in the NFC Championship in this one. But it's going to be a very close game with the Bucks because it's Brady. He got experience. The whole entire roster have experience. And I feel like in this one, somehow, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to call it. But if Brock Purdy does make a mistake or something or can't draw the ball down, I wouldn't be surprised if they put Jimmy G in. like how they did when Trey Lance got hurt and he had to come back and say that again.
That's fair. So for me, I got Cincy and Minnesota. Wait, I'll say Cincy, San Francisco and Minnesota. Sorry, but I think this would be much like that. I want to say it was the 2020 playoffs when Minnesota had to travel to the Bay, play San Francisco, and they got waxed. I think it will be the same thing this time around. I'll give Kirk Cousins the win over Daniel Jones, but I don't think he'll be able to go into San Francisco against that defense and put on a stellar performance to win that game. So I got the 49ers winning. Looks like y'all are gonna pull this one out, Cam. 78-75, and dude just missed his first free throw. So now he gotta miss this one and get the ball back out. Oh, never mind. Y'all got the rebound too and fouled. Yeah, this game over. It's 1 second left. Jabari Rice to seal it. And he missed the first free throw. Come on, bro. I'm gonna get to you after you make the second one. That's actually crazy. I actually played against him my senior year. He went to New Mexico State and then he transferred. I didn't even know he was still hooping in college. Come on, just end this right now. Okay, thank you. He made it. Yes, sir. 2 plays for the day, 2 dubs. Had Jalen Brunson over 1.5 3, cash in the first quarter. Celtics, UT, MLP. Cash, baby. Let's go. But so yeah, I got 49ers waxing the Vikings. And then I have the Eagles and the Bucks. The Bucks will have to travel to Philly, a rematch of last year's divisional matchup. Or no, wild card matchup. I'm sorry, rematch of last year, except this time it will be in Philly. And I know you're saying Lane Johnson should be back. Hopefully he's back because I just looked it up. Philly is 13-22 without when Lane Johnson doesn't play. So they're bad. And I heard LaShawn McCoy say, he didn't have the exact numbers, but on the show Speak, he was like, when Lane Johnson went down that next day, he was like, man, I hope he can come back because without him, we bad. Like we don't win too many games when he's out. But because of that, Jalen Hurts, even though I know Jalen Hurts is a dog, he gonna play through injury and stuff. I still don't. He's not 100% healthy, and that showed this weekend. And he really needed to kind of get back into a groove. And the Eagles didn't necessarily find that this week. Now they're gonna get another week of rest, and they're gonna have to come back again. And I think they're gonna be real rusty. I know it's. I'm sorry, Cam, but I think Tampa Bay gonna find a way. Just like Tom Brady is inevitable. He shouldn't be here in the playoffs, but he's here. And now that he's here, it's win or go home. And he had a clip from his podcast earlier this week. He was like, I mean, obviously you don't want to be in the playoffs with a losing record and you're facing teams, Cowboys 12-5, Eagles 14-3, stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, at this point in the season, it's any given Sunday, and all you have to do is win that day. And that day, if it comes, I think Tom Brady will find a way to win again. And it'll suck because the Eagles had an amazing season, but too much just went wrong at the end of the season with injuries, and that kind of derailed y'all's momentum and ruined y'all's groove. And at that point, the Bucks will be playing their hottest football. Like you said, that Carolina game, they went off. This week, they looked good when the starters were in there. Then they rested them. I think they'll catch fire again versus the Cowboys, and they'll be headed into the Philly game on 10 with all the momentum in the world. And y'all haven't really played a complete game in the last month or so because Jalen Hurts been out and y'all have had injuries on both sides of the ball. So I think it'll be a close game again, but I think Tom Brady will score late and then it'll be on y'all to win. And I think it'll either be turnover on downs or y'all do something crazy like miss a field goal in the game, y'all. To send to overtime, it'll just be like, bro, of course, versus Tom Brady, this happens. And so I have him going to San Francisco for the NFC Championship game. Now we're in the championship weekend. I got Chiefs. I think we all got Chiefs Bengals on the AFC side, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. NFC side, I got Bucks 49ers. Y'all got 49ers, Eagles. Which one y'all want to touch first? We can flip flip it around and go NFC first this time if y'all want, or how y'all want to do it?
Yeah, I could do NFC first.
Okay, look, you can go first too. Go ahead. Tell us how the championship weekend plays out.
I'm not even trying to be biased. But I'm gonna still roll with them only because like I said, it all depends on the quarterback play against the Eagles. The only thing that's gonna kill me with the Eagles is injury still, and I don't want them to make a bonehead play to where we can't recover from it. Because even times throughout the season, as much as me being a huge Eagles fan, we got saved because the opposing team turned the ball back over, and somehow we got saved. That's gonna eat us up, so we can't turn the ball over. But I love the 49ers defense. I love their offense. But I feel like we can compete with them. I feel like with this game, it come down to a field goal. It would definitely come down to a field goal. So I got them by a field goal with that one. It's not gonna be close. I mean, it's not gonna be tight like that. Like as far as they think it's gonna be a blowout and stuff. But I got a field goal on that one. I got like maybe 27, 24, something like that. Like both defenses are gonna give up a lot of points. Eagles defense been playing good all season. In the last few games, we've been getting up a lot. But that's because of injuries, and that's because our key pieces are out. 49ers defense, they give up a lot with the Raiders. And it's gonna be a very close game. So yeah, I got my team going off with that one. Field goal.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it because you know what I'm finna do when we talk about the AFC. So,
Yeah. So I
but
got that.
go ahead, Kev. What you got to come down your NFC bracket?
Now this probably gonna be a similar game to the Cowboys one, but the one difference is I think Philly defense is able to stop this run game. And it's kind of crazy I'm saying that. I know everybody you know, during the year everybody was saying, "Oh, Philly defense, they can't stop the run, they can't stop the run pretty much." But if you like remember, it was pretty much when Jordan Davis, got injured and he was out. That's when, the Eagles defense was vulnerable or whatever, in the run game, and they couldn't really stop the run like that. But he's back. Kind of he's playing injured, but I mean he's still an effective run stopper. So I think he'll be pretty much the X factor in stopping a run. I think they'll stop that run. I think it'll be a pretty close game. I think Jalen Hurts will have one of his moments this game. I think he'll show everybody, hey, like I'm here. I'm one of the better black quarterbacks in the league right now. One of the better younger quarterbacks in the league right now. And I think he'll show off. I don't think the 49ers have any answer for AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown this game will have an elite game. I think he's gonna go crazy this game. He might have around like 2 or 3 touchdowns this game, I feel like, me personally. So I think AJ Brown will go off. So I got Philly. I got Philly beating San Fran.
Hey, man, I wanted to see you because I was able to go back on Twitter and I found all of our preseason predictions, man. I was gonna see if you was gonna stick to your guns.
Yeah.
You had the 49ers and the Ravens in the Super Bowl, and obviously you had the Ravens up. I was gonna see if you was gonna stick with the 49ers. And obviously we thought that 49ers team was gonna have Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, yeah.
But yeah.
That's a different story if they got Trey Lance now.
Yeah. Because if Brock Purdy does lead into Super Bowl, I mean, he has to be the starter next season.
Yeah,
I
he
feel
gotta
like.
be.
But that's gonna be an interesting offseason for them, no matter what happens. But for me, NFC, man, I'm gonna stick to my guns. And obviously the season did not go how I thought it would, but back in the preseason, I had the Bucks making the Super Bowl. And in the game versus the 49ers, Tom Brady back in his hometown, they got waxed earlier this year. Brock Purdy's first game he started, they beat the brakes off the Bucks. 35 to I think it was like 7. They got a garbage time touchdown or something. Or no, I think they scored early, but then it was a blowout from then on out. But Tom Brady versus a rookie quarterback, and that'll be the biggest game of Brock Purdy's life. I think that'll be the game he falls apart. And Tom Brady will take complete advantage. And even though they should not be here, and they're going up against the number one defense, it'll just add to his legacy as the GOAT. How did he go from 8-9 to beating the number one defense in the NFL in the NFC Championship game, taking the Bucks to the Super Bowl? And honestly, I think it might be close throughout the game, but I think Brock Purdy's mistakes would end up adding up at the end. I think the Bucks will win by at least a possession, if not more. It would just be too much. And the pressure would, once Brady, scores and takes the lead off a turnover, the pressure's on, and Brock Purdy wouldn't respond well. And I think Bucks would just walk away with that one. And Skip Bayless would be having a field day the next morning because that's his guy, and he'll be insufferable. But yeah, I think the Bucks, in a miraculous way, they find their way to the Super Bowl this year, man. So that's how I got the NFC playing out. Over on the AFC side, Cincy versus KC and a neutral site. Don't know what the neutral site would be, but we're 0-3 versus Burrow. I don't know. I want to take my cheese, but how y'all feeling about that one?
That's gonna be a real tough one. That's probably gonna be like the toughest matchup out of the entire playoffs, if you ask me. Like you said, it's 0-3, but hear me out. I feel like the Chiefs can find a way to pull this off. I think this game right here will like be one of the biggest games in Mahomes' career. And the reason why I say that is because you're doing this without Tyreek, and you're doing this to show people like, hey, I'm still arguably the best quarterback in the game right now. And then on top of that, if I look up the stats, I think Mahomes is 13-10 and four quarter comebacks. That's better than Brady's, and that's better than Dak's. Way better than both of them combined. So that's higher than 500 right there. So I feel like in this game he'll have a 4-quarter comeback, and I feel like he'll definitely get his revenge from last year. So I got Mahomes winning this, and this, like I said, this game was definitely elevate his legacy. Because not only are you getting revenge on a team that knocked you out the playoffs last year, but you're doing this without arguably one of the best receivers in the game. You have like from offseason, from losing him to still being number one seed and still making playoffs. And now you can knock off a team that knocked you out last year. So this definitely will increase his legacy. So I got the Chiefs win this one. This will be a close game. I got them winning by 4.
Okay. To you, Cam.
Kansas City, Cincy, man. I think this is the game everybody wants to see.
Besides people in Buffalo.
Yeah, besides people in Buffalo, obviously, yeah. Damn. I mean, it's really like a coin flip. But like I said before, Pat got to get back, and Pat remembers a lot of shit, and I think he gets to get back. I think that y'all will be up by like a touchdown or so, and we'll say since he comes down and get another touchdown, it might be tied up, or y'all might be up by like 3 or something like that. And it's like a game, like pretty much Pat got the ball last or whatever. And like you've been saying, if y'all just stick with the run, like y'all like probably all 3 of those games y'all lost, y'all would have beat Cincy. So hopefully Andy like learns from his mistakes and actually just run the ball instead of like just. We know Pat is great. We know he's great, whatever. But sometimes it's literally just hand the ball off. Like literally just hand the ball off. You got a great running back in Pacheco. He's gonna run hard. He's gonna get popped. And then after that he's gonna pop right back up and run it back to the huddle. So I think Kansas City wins this game.
Yeah. Man. Speaking of Pacheco, low key, I don't think he will because Pickett is a quarterback and it's more tailored towards him. But Pacheco low key has an argument for rookie of the year. He has the most purpose yards for all NFL rookies, and he was a 7th round pick. So definitely hope we do learn from our lessons. But I think we win this game, but the only way we're going to win this game is if on both sides of the ball we learn our lesson. So for the Chiefs, if it's 3rd and 3 or 4, run the ball. If that means you're going to go for it on 4th down when you're in the territory, run the ball because you're going to go for it. Like maybe you get the 1st down, but if not, you'll get closer, hopefully, and make it a 4th and short. But yeah, definitely run the ball in the crucial situations because they're dropping 8 back in coverage. And then for the offensive side, also they need to take care of the ball. If Travis Kelce doesn't fumble, we're not having this conversation right now. We're gonna go down, and I think we're gonna win the game right there. Travis Kelce fumbles, the momentum switches. Since he scores, and then of course Butker missed the field goal to tie it up. But even if he would have made that, I didn't have faith in our defense to stop him at that point. And speaking of the defense, for us to win this game, the defense is gonna have to get a crucial 3rd down stop. Every time we play them now, it's come down to the end of the game where it's a 3rd and long, and all the defense has to do is get this one stop and get the hell off the field. And we have not been able to do it. Spags is gone. Cover 0 blitz. He's drawn up a corner blitz. He's drawn up everything you can think of, and we just cannot get home to Joe Burrow. So it comes down to 3rd and long. I'm not a coach, but I'm just calling it like I see it. With Lyle Collins being down now, and that's, Joe Burrow's blindside tackle. We need to line up Chris Jones over there and blitz that side of the ball and have Chris Jones get scored. He's going to have to win us the game, I think. He's going to have to get to Joe Burrow. He's going to have, if he hasn't got it off his back by then, he's going to have to get that playoff monkey off his back about not sacking the quarterback. But our defense is going to have to get a crucial stop here or there to get the Bengals off the field and give the ball back to Mahomes. And then we got to take care of the ball. No turnovers. If we can play a clean game, like you're saying, Pat Mahomes remembers everything. Of course, he's going to go out there with a grudge, a chip on his shoulder and everything. And, I mean, he was playing lights out that game we played him this season. Like I said, Travis Kelce just fumbled. And then on the crucial 3rd and 4 of the game where I thought we should have just ran the ball because we've been running it well, we didn't run it. And Juju was about to break open, but our line didn't hold up, and Mahomes got tackled from behind and sacked, and we opted to kick a field goal with Butker, and he missed. Game over from there. But, yeah, take care of the ball and get a sack or 2 on Joe Burrow in a crucial situation. We can win this game and head to the Super Bowl. And like I said, standing on my guns, I had the Chiefs and the Bucks in the Super Bowl from my preseason predictions. I'm going to roll with it. Honestly, and we'll just go right into Super Bowl predictions now, and I'll go first on this one. But I think Mahomes has a chance to put together the greatest season ever. Because, like you were saying, Cam, this offseason, we got rid of Tyreek, his best wide receiver. And, even though not everybody said it, there were still a lot of media heads talking like, oh, the Chiefs defense sucks, their offense sucks. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to win the AFC West. Here we are, 14-3, first place in the AFC, won the AFC West for the 7th year in a row. Mahomes has had the most total yards in NFL history for a year. I think it's like 5,613. He leads the league in yards by like 400 or 500 yards, I think is the next closest. Leads the league in passing touchdowns, total touchdowns. Nobody else is really close besides Jalen Hurts with total touchdowns. But passing touchdowns, he's blowing everybody out. He's number 1 in QBR, has a top 3, I think, scoring offense in the league. And he's going to win. He should win NFL MVP unanimously now at this point, with all that being said. Obviously, if Jalen Hurts doesn't get injured, this is a different discussion, but he did, and it happened. And then he didn't play that well in the game. He just came back. So it should be Mahomes. No questions asked now. He's going to win MVP. He's also in the running for Walter Payton Man of the Year. I think he might be able to get that one. Then go to the Super Bowl. The biggest monkey that plagues his legacy right now is he hasn't been able to beat Brady when it mattered the most. And the only reason I picked this matchup when I made these NFL preseason predictions was I was like, I want Mahomes to be able to get his get back on Brady in the Super Bowl, because then he'll have a legitimate argument when it's all said and done. I don't know how the rest of his career is going to play out, but to this point, he's been the greatest ever, statistically speaking. He just doesn't have the Super Bowls that Brady has. But if he's able to beat Brady and then get his second Super Bowl and a second Super Bowl MVP. Hall of Fame career solidified, greatest NFL season solidified because that he'll have the NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP. And I don't think anybody's done that since Kurt Warner back in '99, if I'm not mistaken. So he'll even break that curse where, the MVP doesn't win the Super Bowl. But I think, we'll put it all together as long as we're able to go through these playoffs healthy and not lose any of our offensive line like we did last time. And we'll go into that Super Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona, where we started our season. We'll end our season with a dub versus Tampa Bay. And I think it'll be obviously it's gonna come down to it because Tom Brady's gonna dice up our defense at certain points in the game. But I think we'll win that game 28-24. And Mahomes will ride off into the sunset, and I'll get to talk my hot shit for the rest of the offseason. So that's how I got the NFL season ended. Chiefs 28, Bucks 24 in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll pass it to Cam Swan next. You got your Eagles versus my Chiefs. The Kelsey matchup, man.
Brother versus brother, man. You already know I still got to roll my team, man. I still at the end of the day, I still got to roll with them die hard. I think with this one it determines this is probably like 1D. I want this matchup to happen. And I hope so because you have brother versus brother. You have two of the top candidates for MVP. That I ain't gonna lie, I feel like Mahomes definitely deserves after what happened with Hurts. But in this game, I feel like Hurts is gonna use that as fuel to the fire. It's like, look, Mahomes can have an MVP, but I want that ring. So I feel like this would like put more fuel in. I'll be listening to Hurts his post game speeches on his Instagram live. That man be spitting, and I feel like he's gonna get his team hyped up. And the fact that he's doing this at his age of like 24, like he's gonna get that team hyped up. And you got people like Kelsey and Johnson who are in their early 30s, mid 30s, are like, you know what, bro? He sound like he been in the league for 13 years type stuff. So I got, of course, that's my team. So I got rolled them right with. So I got them winning that one. I got them. It's gonna be a close game. So I'm kind of in the same path as you as 28-24, 25-28, something like that. So that's gonna be my matchup with that one.
Yeah, that one. Honestly, y'all and the 49ers are the two teams I wouldn't want to see in the Super Bowl. 49ers because we beat them, I think, the last 3 or 4 times, and it kind of just feels like at this point it would just be time for them to finally get one. And I think Shanahan would learn from his mistakes in the previous Super Bowl and just run the ball because I don't think we would be able to stop it consistently. For y'all, I think Jalen Hurts will have a great game in RPO, but I think Brown would kill us because he killed us last year with Tennessee. And I watched that shit live in person. We wouldn't have an answer. The biggest threat to us is big wide receivers who can just go up and get the jump ball. Because we're gonna play press coverage. Spags isn't gonna change it up. We're not gonna play zone. We're gonna play press coverage, and at one point in the game or another, he's gonna drop a cover 0 blitz, and all Jalen Hurts is gonna have to do is throw it up to AJ Brown, and he gonna go and get it over one of our rookie corners, and it'll probably be on a crucial 3rd down. I think he would have a big game, and honestly, I think it would still go to Jalen Hurts because he'll be the one throwing the ball. But I think AJ Brown would possibly win Super Bowl MVP if y'all beat us in that game because I think he would have that type of game versus us. But yeah, I can't be mad at you for taking your team. It would really be interesting because the Kelsey brothers been having their podcast all year. That would be an interesting week leading up to it. I think they said they said it a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it would happen if this is the matchup, but they said they would try to bring on Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes both back to the podcast leading up to that Super Bowl, and maybe even some other players. But that would definitely be interesting. That matchup, Andy Reid versus the Eagles, his old team, like a lot would be on the line that game. So definitely can't be mad at your decision there. What about you, Cam? You got the Eagles and the Chiefs too. So are you rolling with the same thing Cam said, or you picking my Chiefs, man?
Oh, come on, man. I'm thinking, how about those Chiefs? Like, man. I think Pat Mahomes is gonna come out and show why he's mean, I always say this. He's the greatest ever. In my eyes, he's the greatest ever. The greatest I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I mean, things this man can do on the field is just better than anyone else. But I think it'll be a very, very close game, obviously. Jalen Hurts, he's not going like this won't be like an easy game for the Chiefs. Like Jalen Hurts he won't let that ever happen. Jalen Hurts been having a chip on his shoulder since goddamn when Nick
Forever.
Saban, yeah, forever. When he was, I believe he played for Channelview, right? Didn't he play for Channelview?
Yep.
He
Yeah.
had a
That
chip.
coaching.
Yep, he had a
Yeah.
chip. He had a chip then. He had a chip on his shoulder when Nick Saban took him out and put Tua in the national championship game. Um, he had a chip on his shoulder going into NFL draft and stuff like that. I think he'll put up a fight. I think he'll put up a good fight. He'll probably have around like 3 touchdowns or whatnot, 2 throwing and one rushing. But I think Kansas City would just be too much for Philly. That offense of Kansas City, I think this would be too much. I think Pat would just dice that defense up. They'll just have no answer to stop Pat Mahomes, and I think he wins. I think he gets Super Bowl MVP. Like I said, this is probably one of the greatest NFL seasons by a quarterback ever. And just to top that off with winning Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP. It's just crazy to think about because beginning of the year, all these analysts was saying, they lost they lost Tyreek. How would this look? They won't look good. They won't make the playoffs. But I told you this before the year started. I was like, this is the best version we'll ever see of Pat Mahomes. And maybe this probably, this is probably what we're gonna see, later on in his career also, because he don't have Tyreek no more. He don't have that. I mean, he still got deep threats, but he don't have like that game changing deep threat that Tyreek was. Even though he still got Travis Kelce, he's a game changer. But it's like you don't know who he gonna throw the ball to. Like you don't know if he gonna throw it to what's buddy name, the tall light skinned receiver,
Oh, MVS.
MVS. No, not him. The other one.
What's his
Fortson?
name? Yeah,
Huh? Say it
You,
again.
you talking about Jody?
Not Jody. The other one.
got more.
Not Scott Moore. It's a tall one. He was off the league or whatever. Like he was about to be out the league, and y'all picked him up off of like a practice squad or some shit.
He's on Justin Watson?
Yeah, Justin Watts. Justin Watts.
Oh, he's
Justin
not
Watts.
light skinned. That's a white guy.
Oh, it's a white guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he,
Red-
he looked light skinned to me. He looked light skinned every time
Yeah.
I see. I was like, hey, he look light
yeah,
skinned.
he was on the Bucks practice squad that year they beat us in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's
He's a
funny.
speedster. Like, and just to add on to what you say, because I even forgot some points when I was talking about Mahomes possibly on the greatest year. But yeah, all that stuff in the offseason, come in with the completely new wide receiver room. The only returning wide receiver he had was McCole Hardman. We haven't had McCole Hardman since week 9. And I get, people aren't the biggest Clyde Edwards-Helaire fan, but we haven't had Clyde since like week 11 or something. We haven't had our number 1 wide receiver and our number 1 running back for the majority of the season now. And Mahomes has still led us to first place in the AFC. I think it was the Chargers game. Juju was out too. So we were literally out there with Sky Moore, Justin Watson, MVS. And Mahomes led them to a victory versus the Chargers in a game-winning drive with them as his top 3 receivers. And it's like, it more so, just going back to even yesterday, that dude on Twitter commenting that stupid stuff. Like, at this point, what can you really say about Mahomes? I literally said it in the first ever episode we ever recorded. I was like, this is going to set up, this is why, and the particulars are here, I had him as my MVP because I was like, all this talk about how he's going to fall off, and last season was his worst season ever, and they figured him out, even though he still threw for 4,800 yards and 37 touchdowns. That's a quarterback's, any other quarterback in the league, that's a career year for them. But for Mahomes, it's like, oh, he fell off. Like, then you lose Tyreek. Oh, he's really not going to perform. And now this year he's thrown for 5,200, 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, number 1 quarterback rating. And literally, it's everybody getting the love. I think he's thrown a touchdown to 12 different receivers this year. I mean, it's literally, he's on another level. I get people will still say, "Oh, well, Joe Burrow has a case to be better than him because he beat him." And while Joe Burrow is great, Josh Allen is also great. Herbert, great. It's just another level Patrick Mahomes is at, and people not gonna give him his credit no matter what he does. But if he's able to pull off a Super Bowl run this year, especially with everything considered, and just going back to look at what all was said this offseason, it's gonna be very hard to even be a hater at this point if he's able to pull it off. Because like he's done everything already. He's had a Hall of Fame career, literally. So yeah, man, definitely excited. Sure to get these playoffs started this weekend. Season has gone by in a blur, it feels like, but we finally here. Like I said, our first official bet, I'm rocking with the Bucks Monday night. We'll have more official picks coming out later this weekend. This episode will drop Friday morning with the vlog I just put together from Vegas. Currently recording this Wednesday night, January 11th. But yeah, man, that's our playoff predictions. Brought on our guy Cam. Haven't seen him since the middle of the season, but he's back. Honestly, if you down Cam, we could probably just bring you back every week, throughout the playoffs, so we come back and talk about how our predictions went. And hopefully at some point, depending on how the Cowboys play, hopefully we'll be able to get the other Cam back as well, and Chris too. But both of them are really depending on how the Cowboys game goes Monday night. Because if they lose, I doubt we'll get them back for any more football talk until next year.
Look at the back. Well, boy, if they win, oh my goodness.
If they win, we beat Tom Brady. We're headed to the Super Bowl for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's how they be.
Yeah, and that'll be funny. They'll beat Tom Brady and then drop a dub versus the Eagles or something, and that'll be like the biggest letdown ever.
Oh, I'm talking my shit that day. I'm talking my shit. They gonna have to block me or something. Like remember that time we was in the group chat and I said, "Oh, I thought y'all gonna beat us." He left the group chat.
Yeah. Cam Davis left the group chat after that first Eagles Cowboys matchup, man. We haven't heard from him since, but like I said, hopefully we'll hear back from him. But yeah, man, appreciate you for coming on, Cam. That's our NFL, I guess, finale headed into the playoffs. You heard our picks here. We'll see how we fare out. When I tweet this video out, I'll also add the picture from our preseason predictions, and I'll send to you after this, Cam, so you can see how we fared out. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all for listening. This is probably gonna be our longest episode ever to date with the vlog added. But like I said, appreciate y'all for listening. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you really fuck with us and everything we're doing. But you already know what it is. Your kids from the neighborhood signing out. My dog Cam Swan, my other dog Cam Sanders. Playoff prediction video. Let's get it, man. NFL season coming to an end. Who knows who's gonna win, but it's gonna be a nice little playoff season for sure.
Eileen.